The guy that really.
Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Edmonton Oilers versus the Dallas Stars, West Final. Game number 1. We're going to have puck drop here in just about 4 minutes. Super excited about this particular West Final. And shout out to the Florida Panthers on winning last night 3-0 over the New York Rangers in the East Final, game number 1. This is going to be good. And again, Mariners played earlier this morning, and I predicted that they would get the shit kicked out of them, and they did. Aaron Judge went yard. Giancarlo Stanton went yard. We ended up losing 5-0, only had 3 hits. It was on at 9:30 in the morning, so I already knew the Mariners are not a good morning or early afternoon team. So we ended up splitting the series. We won the first 2. The Yankees won the last 2. And then right after this game is over, as we transition into Friday, I will end up doing the Mariners versus the Nationals on more than likely Friday and Saturday. And we might end up doing another NHL playoff game on Sunday. And then when we get into Monday, we start a series with the Houston Astros, and I'm super excited about that. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day, getting everything situated here, and I am ready to go. All right, one sec here. Let's go. Matt in the building. What's good? What's good, brother? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Let's go. Preston in the building. What's good? And hey, last year for you and LG, right? It was a little underwhelming where you had the players in place, but again, when you have so many good quality players, right? And if you only have like one guy that steps up out of the 5 main studs, right? You're not going to win the series, right? And to be able to, kind of put it together this year, get better, play in net from Ottinger, a little bit more consistency, right? But then you're getting guys, not only with Joe, but with Jason. And then even though Rupee Hintz isn't playing today, you got Rupee Hintz. Everyone started to kind of come together. And instead of having one guy step up out of the 5 or 6 main, you've had about 3 or 4 out of the 5 step up almost every game. And here you are. You ended up playing the Vegas Golden Knights, who won the Stanley Cup last year. See you later. Right? Then you ended up playing the Colorado Avalanche, who won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago. See you later. This might be destiny for the Dallas Stars. They haven't won it since the late 90s with Mike Modano. And I like what I'm seeing so far, in the playoffs with Dallas. And I do think that Dallas can win this series. Connor McDavid is great, right? There is no question about that. He's one of the best players in the NHL. But if we're talking about depth, I think Dallas has better depth than Edmonton. And if I was going to do a prediction, and I said this before the East and the West Finals started, I think we're going to get a Florida-Dallas Stanley Cup. And then I think that could literally go either way. So I think, this series could be Dallas in 6, Dallas in 7. I think the Florida and New York series could go Florida in 6, Florida in 7. But again, the Rangers have to play much better than they did in game 1 last night if they wanted to get to 6 and 7. Florida may end up winning that series in 5 if New York isn't careful. So definitely excited. And if we end up getting a Florida Panther Dallas Stars final, Florida will probably be favored, but that's okay. Dallas has always been kind of an underdog, right? You see what they're doing with the Mavericks. The Cowboys, they need to be able to pay attention, all right? They always say it's America's team, right? But the Mavericks and the Dallas Stars are in better position than the Cowboys have been since 1995. So I'm very excited to see how this all plays out. And I think that both series are going to be good. This one, to me, though, Edmonton and Dallas should be a little bit more evenly matched than Florida and New York. No disrespect to the New York Rangers, but I think they're a little bit out of their league, going against Florida. Sergei Bobrovsky, they got an ultimate guy in net, and I feel that they have better players top to bottom with Tkachuk and company. So we'll see how it all plays out. No Rupee Hintz tonight, which is going to definitely hurt Dallas a little bit. But again, and obviously Hakanpää No Hakanpää either. So that definitely is going to be maybe a deciding factor. Edmonton can win game one on the road. But again, if Dallas wants to win this, taking care of business at home and setting the tone, Florida was able to win on the road. Edmonton is going to try to do the same. And hopefully this crowd is loud and noisy from the opening puck drop until it ends up being over. Let's go. Let's go, baby. No worries, Matt. I got you, my guy. Megan in the building. What's good? Hey, but what did I say? What did I say? Didn't I say that they were going to lose? And they were going to lose bad because we're not a morning or an early afternoon team? And I was correct, right? So, again, I know my team better than anybody. I know when they're going to play well. I know when they're not. And until they can prove that they can win in the morning or in the early afternoon, regardless on who they're playing, they could play the Yankees. They could end up playing a bottom feeder like the White Sox. You're not able to get that dub. So we won the first two. The Yankees won the last two. We have this matchup here tonight, and then we're going to end up starting a series against the Washington Nationals, who is going to be a little bit easier than playing the first place Yankees. So here we go. Megan with a $5. Appreciate you. Drop your predictions on what you guys think are going to happen in this particular series. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. $5 holla, 95 to go. Let's get it. You think Mavs and Wolves will go 7? That one is pretty evenly matched as well. And you would assume the Celtics will win against the Pacers in 6 or 7. But I'm not sure if, I'm not really sure what you're going to get. I mean, I know Mavs stole game 1, right? So we'll see. But it's kind of interesting because I feel on the NBA side, you legitimately could have, anybody win the championship besides Indiana. So the Mavericks could end up winning the first one with Luka, right? You could end up having, Ant go, gain it. Obviously he hasn't been shooting well in the last few games, right? His shooting percentage has been bad. But you think, with the defense and everything that they got, they still got a chance to win that series. And then with the Celtics, the Pacers, they've had the easiest run in the Eastern Conference. I feel like, it's been so easy for Boston that once they end up playing Minnesota or Dallas, we'll see what they have. But it'll be very interesting. Either Tatum and Brown will get their first championship, Ant will get his first championship, or Luka will get his first championship. Not saying that I'm discrediting the Pacers altogether, but what a save. Another save. But it will be exciting to see what happens, obviously, on both sides. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well as YouTube. And we already got 3 shots on goal there for Dallas to get it going. And I know Megan was rooting for Vancouver to get past Edmonton, and it went 7 games, could have went either way. That was another series I thought that could go either way. And unfortunately, Vancouver just couldn't, come up with that Game 7 victory. But to me, the NHL playoffs are more intriguing than the NBA. I feel, if we're just being honest, and I know some of y'all that are Stars fans are also Mavericks fans, but let's be honest. The NBA Eastern Final and the NBA Western Final is the weakest it's been in a long, long time. I mean, let's be real. Indiana Pacers as one of the Final 4 teams, really? And even Dallas wasn't that great in the regular season. Minnesota started to get hot kind of late, and Boston, they've been pretty good, right? But who have they played? You know what I'm saying? Like the Eastern Conference is kind of weak. So, Boston kind of made it by default. Right. And normally, if it's not Boston, it's normally a team like Milwaukee with Giannis and Dame, but they fucking imploded. Right. And they had a lot of injuries. So we'll find out if, the Eastern Conference can win it with Boston. But, if the Mavericks and the T-Wolves, whoever ends up winning that, I imagine they'll be the underdog. Maybe Boston will be favored, but there's no guarantee that Boston wins the championship for the NBA. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the NHL with Edmonton and Dallas and the Rangers and Florida, those are all solid teams that we, may have thought or may have not thought they would get this far, but I don't think there's any complaints. But when you look on the NBA side with the Pacers, right, the Celtics, right, the Timberwolves and the Mavericks, if you would have told me that those were the final 4 teams, I think I would have predicted Boston, but I don't know if I would have predicted the other 3 teams making it this far. So, but that's where the state of the NBA is in. And, obviously the NHL is in a better place right now than the NBA. Big facts. Let's go. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's the time zone, and I think it's routine. Think about your routine when you wake up. Imagine if you woke up and you had no coffee, and then you had to start working on a project or go to work. How would you function? Would you function okay? And what happens if you didn't sleep well? Sometimes, being able to have a lunch and a breakfast and then being able to go through a warm up or a shoot around or batting practice or being able to throw the football around and having some team meetings and then playing at 5, 6, 7 p.m. Then you've had all day to prepare instead of just waking up extremely early, maybe even a couple hours earlier than normal, maybe not really getting into that normal breakfast and, that routine. So I feel like West Coast teams in general are at a disadvantage compared to Midwest and East Coast teams, that when we play and it ends up being 9 or 10 in the morning or even 11 or noon or 1, sometimes we're not going to be able to give our best performance. And normally West Coast teams play the best in the evening. 5 p.m. and later, that's our time zone. Anything before 5 p.m., that's probably going to favor the other team, depending. And it also depends on if the game is being played in the Midwest, in the East Coast, or if it's being played at home in, Oregon or in Washington, in Seattle, for example. But, the Kraken struggle, obviously the Seahawks struggle. I think it's just a number of teams. The Mariners struggle, and it's not like it's impossible for them to get a win. But I feel if you go back and look statistically, how was I, able to predict that they were going to get their ass kicked? And obviously when we lost yesterday, I already knew, and I said it on stream, we're not going to win tomorrow. And again, I don't have any faith in any of the pitchers right now besides Brian Wu. And even though Luis Castillo started off 0-4 and then ended up winning a few games later, I knew that it was going to be an ugly game. And it's exactly what it was. So, and even if we would have played a shitty team, on the East Coast, there's a good chance that the Mariners would have lost today also. So until they can prove, these West Coast teams that they can win, in the morning, in the early afternoon, then I'm going to keep predicting that, that they're probably more than likely going to lose until statistically that changes. And every once in a while, a blind squirrel will get its nut, and we will win. Seahawks will win a game at 10 a.m. The Kraken will win early. Maybe the Mariners will win at 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning. But again, so far, it hasn't been pretty. And I'm definitely excited to be able to see what we get here in this matchup. And we don't got to worry about any morning games in the NHL Eastern and Western Final. Everything will be on at 5 p.m. Pacific or later. Let's go. 3 shots on goal for the Stars, 1 for the Oilers, and obviously Connor McDavid coming off the injury, so he's not necessarily 100%, but they're going to need a big performance out of Connor throughout this series if they want to be able to beat Dallas. Let's go. $5, 95 to go to hit the goal. Let them know. But I think routines are very important. Like, again, sometimes, with depression, anxiety, and a lot of these things like, we talk about on the daily, right? When you have a daily routine, right? And it's a good one, right? And then you stray from it, you feel like your whole fucking day is off. And you try and to fight it. You try to be able to get past it. And sometimes after a few hours, maybe you'll start to feel like your normal self. But I know, like if I don't got my coffee or if I don't got my energy drink, and let's say like I haven't got a chance to go to the store and then I got to go into my daily routine, I know that I'm not right. I'll battle and I'll try to make it work, but I just know it's not going to be like every other day where I've set my priorities and I have my kind of timeline on how I get shit done. And I kind of feel a little pressured, a little out of whack, a little flustered, because you just, even if something as simple as a coffee or an energy drink or whatever it is, or not being able to get my morning walk in, I'm not going to be 100%, because again, that's just how our routines, have caused our, lives to either be, positive or to kind of feel flustered. And that's why I feel that a lot of these West Coast teams can't win, especially when they go to the East Coast. It's that time travel, going over in the plane, being in a different time zone, and just having your routine, kind of messed up, for that matter. So Dallas is very aggressive right now, starting it off. And I imagine we are going to see a few fights in this particular series as well. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. Yeah, and I knew it was going to be extremely ugly. I didn't necessarily predict 3 hits total, but I had a weird feeling that it was going to be really, really bad. And obviously Judge homered, the night before. So I thought, there's probably a good chance that he might end up getting another one. And he did. Giancarlo hit one as well. And, again, it's a first place team going against a first place team. But the funny thing is, even if the Mariners were at home this morning and we were playing in Seattle, and for whatever weird ass reason, we played at 9:30 or 10:30 in the morning, I think the exact same thing would have happened. I think the Yankees would have beat the shit out of us. So, sometimes time zones and sometimes the time of the games will affect the outcome, unfortunately, but true. So obviously, as a Stars fan, LG, so what do you got? You got Stars in 6? Is that what you wrote down earlier? Or do you got Stars? What do you got? Stars in 6 or Stars in 7? Preston's got Stars in 6. And you got Stars in 6 as well. Okay, and then if it ends up being Florida and Dallas, right? Obviously, you're a Dallas fan, so you're going to be biased, and you're going to hope and pray and wish that you can win it all. But what does your gut really tell you? Do you really think that you can beat Florida? If Florida goes in and sweeps the Rangers or they win in 5, what are your chances? I mean, Dallas is very good this year, right? But do you think that you could end up beating Florida? And if you were, what would it be? Would it be Florida? What are we talking? Are we talking Dallas in 7 against Florida in the Stanley Cup? Or is it Dallas in 6? What would you think it would be? That would be very interesting, and I hope that's the matchup that we end up getting. I hope we get the Florida Panthers and the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final, and I hope it goes 7. And again, Florida has been pretty close. The last couple years. The Stars, have made the playoffs, but they just weren't as good as Colorado and Vegas. And this year they were, right? But it would just really be heartbreaking if Dallas ends up winning this series, in 6 or 7, and then you end up playing Florida and just get mollywopped. Sergei Bobrovsky going against Ottinger. I think Sergei kind of gets the nod as far as goalies are concerned, but Ottinger has been better this year compared to last year as far as consistency. And the Dallas Stars players, you're getting more stars that are stepping up game in and game out, and that's really been the difference, with Dallas this year compared to Dallas last year for the Stars, in my opinion. All right, let's see if Dallas can take advantage of this power play. Less than 12 minutes to go in the first period. Still knotted up here at 0. Wow, you got Stars in 5. Really? No love for Connor McDavid and Edmonton? I know you obviously wanted Vancouver and stuff, to be able to advance. 5? Man, I don't know about that. That would be wild. That would be something. I wouldn't predict that. I would assume both of the series. I mean, if we were going to have a series go 5, I think it would be Florida and the Rangers and maybe 5 with Florida. But I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get Edmonton in 5. It could happen, right? But I feel I would have to give them at least 2 wins, maybe even 3. And depending on what happens tonight, Edmonton could win the series. But I think that, again, if Edmonton were to win the series, it would have to go a minimum of 6, maybe 7. Because Dallas is not backing down without a fight, and they are much better in years past. But this game 1 will definitely be a key to see, if Edmonton can win on the road, just like Florida did, or if Dallas can. I feel like the pressure is more on Dallas than Edmonton, and again, the pressure is on the Rangers more than on Florida, so Florida can play, loose. And I feel like with Dallas, they're playing confident, but I feel there's more pressure on them, especially, having game 1 and having home ice. It's going to be, and obviously the kind of the past failures that Dallas has had. I feel there's a lot of pressure here, and getting these first couple wins, on home ice will be very crucial for Stars winning this overall series in the West Final. Yeah, and that's why I said that, because I kind of felt that, if Edmonton wins this game 1, I wouldn't be shocked. I think Dallas is the better team by far, but I wouldn't be shocked if Edmonton ends up winning this first game. Not by like a blowout, but just, just squeaking it by. But we'll see. I am actually hoping Dallas can get the dub here at home, though, because I feel if you win this game 1, that'll really set the tone in the series. And if you win game 1, you might end up, getting that Uncle Mo to be able to win the series overall. 10 minutes to go here in the first period, still knotted up at 0. Dadonov, Smith, Faxa, Lindell, Harley, Ekholm, Hyman, Drysdale, McDavid, and Bouchard.
Right back into this, yeah, no doubt, right? Especially after that first round 7-game series against Vegas, they need a little bit of rest. How about that, Don?
But even if Dallas wins against Edmonton and they fail to win the Stanley Cup and they lose to Florida, let's say in 7, Dallas will be back. You know, you can tell they're getting better and better and better. And obviously, if this one feels like, okay, this is a championship caliber team, not like last year's team, but I feel that they have enough stars in place, hence the name, that if they have a heartbreaking loss in the Stanley Cup final and they end up losing to Florida in like 6 or 7, they'll be back. But obviously, I know Dallas fans are like, we need to win now, because there is no guarantee that they can get back to this point. I mean, it may take a couple years. Maybe they can do it again next year. But again, it's very competitive in the West, especially when you got Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, and a few others, including Edmonton and Vancouver. Seems like it's almost like a rotational wheel. Like each year, it's going to be a different team representing the West. 4 shots on goal for the Stars, 1 for the Oilers. The Oilers got to pick it up here. But Dallas definitely being more of the aggressive team. 4 shots on goal, 8 big hits, and obviously no penalty minutes so far. Playing pretty clean, but aggressive. And thank you for liking and retweeting the stream there. I appreciate that. Matt, if you've, I'm not sure if you've done that already as well, but if you could do that for me also, I would appreciate it. Appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you, Megan. Thank you so much. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well as YouTube. Suter, Pavleski, Duchesne, Marchment, Harley, and no Rupee Hintz. So that kind of makes me a little nervous because he's kind of the glue. You know, again, you have Jason Robertson, you got Pavleski, you know, you got Marchment, you got a lot of different guys. You got Jamie Benn. You know, the Stars have a lot of quality players from top to bottom. You could argue, you know, from top to bottom, they might have the best roster out of the 4 teams that are left. You know, but again, play in net, you know, by Ottinger will be very, very key. But not having Rupee Hintz, you know, that might end up being the factor where you might end up losing this. You know, Hakanpää not playing either is a factor, but I think Rupee Hintz, that's a bigger factor. I mean, he's usually one of those X factors that if he's not scoring, you know, he's involved in the assists, and he's just a gamer. You know, one of my favorite players on the Stars overall, even though he might not be the most popular player on the team, he's just always in the thick of things. And with no Rupee, they're going to have to dig deep, but they can still do it. So the Rangers have home ice, and then obviously Dallas. So Florida won game 1 in the East on the road last night, 3-0. But I don't think it really mattered. You know, Florida can win at home or on the road, and I don't know. I'm not really a believer of the Rangers. I feel like they had a solid regular season. They are very, very good, right? But I just feel that I can't trust Skinner in net, and I feel like, honestly, you know, out of all 4 teams that are left, I think that one might be the weakest one out of the 4, you know, them or Edmonton. Oh, there we go. No penalty. Little line change there. Smith, Robertson, Heiskanen, Harley, and Johnston. Ekholm, Nugent, Hopkins, Draisaitl, Bouchard, and Holloway. Absolutely. Yeah. And they're obviously, both teams are very, very excited. So, you know, it's going to be, kind of feeling each other out and, seeing how it goes. But, obviously shots on goal, you're doing a great job. 4 shots on goal. I mean, obviously you'd want more than 4, but with Edmonton only sitting at 1 with 13 minutes played, I would say so far so good. Face-off percentage needs to be a little bit better, though. Right now, Edmonton's at 55.6, Dallas at 44.4. But again, I honestly feel that if you lose tonight, right, it'll be because Rupee Hintz isn't playing, bottom line. And hopefully Rupee will be back. They say the estimated return date will be in 2 days. So that would obviously be around, game 2? And again, hopefully he ends up being healthy at that point, because if Rupee Hintz is out for the whole series, that might be the deciding factor between Dallas and Edmonton, in my opinion, because he's such a stud. Like, it's one thing if you don't have Joe or if you don't have Jason, if you don't have some of these other guys, but again, I think Rupee is kind of like the glue. And again, he doesn't have to score to impact the game, and again, Joe and Jason can also get goals and assists. But if you, watch Dallas and the way that they play, I feel that, Rupee kind of holds it together. And again, he can do a little bit of everything. And, most games that I've watched, he has been a big factor for big wins for Dallas. So we'll see. But so far, so good. And I like Ottinger over Skinner, in this particular series. But again, we will, it's up to the players to, to help Ottinger out. So that way he isn't getting slammed with, attempts and then rebound attempts. And, he's, getting into a position where he feels flustered and he's got to slide around, obviously there in front of the net, side to side. So he has the agility, to be able to do it. But again, if Dallas can help him out, just like in any team, to kind of keep it out of the crease, that's going to, elevate their chances of being able to not only win this game 1 without Rupee Hintz, but to win the series for the West Final. Less than 7 minutes to go in the first period. Still knotted up at 0 here. Rupee Hintz has got an upper body injury, but that's pretty much everything that they've disclosed. Unless LG knows more information and whatnot. And people don't realize how big Rupee is. 6'3", 212. The guy's huge. He's got good size, good agility. He's a warrior. So hopefully that upper body injury will heal up. Because if he's out for the series, I'm not sure if the Stars can win without him. He's that important. If you were missing Jason or Joe, I think you could still win. But with Rupee, he's such an X factor. And then if they can get Hakanpää back the same day, it sounds like Hakanpää and Hintz are slated for game 2, but we'll have to wait and see if that ends up being true. 4 shots on goal for the Stars, 2 for the Oilers, 11 big hits for Dallas. That's what I like to see. And they've matched off the face-off percentage 50-50. Less than 6 minutes to go in the first period. Suter, Pavleski, Duchesne, Petrovic, Marchment, Ceci, Kulak, Ryan and McLeod for Edmonton. Bruised ribs, yeah. I mean, you just got to be able to think about all the upper body injuries that we would assume if it's not like a concussion or anything with his head, it's got to be, clavicle, ribs, something like that. Ooh. Ooh. Four minutes to go here in the first period. Still knotted up at 0. Crowd is on edge, ready to explode. You can feel it. Yeah, Stars have the only power play of the night so far. And again, that will be a big key for them as well in the second and third period. Absolutely. I'll get you some drags as well. What's going on with Coachella? How many teams are left in that particular league? as far as the playoffs and where they're at. Are they in the same mode right now where they're in their East and West final in that particular league? I would assume that they are on the same kind of, they're mirroring the NHL, I would assume. Unfortunately, I don't follow Coachella's moves, day in and day out. I usually, will read something about them maybe about once a week, once every 1 week and a half. And then obviously I have you, obviously as our Kraken Coachella Firebird expert, to be able to give me some extra information. 3:37 left in the first period. Stars and Oilers still knotted up at 0.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia.
Trying to get some stuff here prepped for you.
Prevnar 20 causes severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response.
How you feeling today? You feeling a little bit better, or are you still kind of under the weather?
Ending up in the hospital with pneumococcal pneumonia.
That's why I chose Prevnar 20.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about the Pfizer vaccine for pneumococcal pneumonia.
To start a business, you need an idea. It's a pillow with a speaker. That's right, Craig. A team that's highly competent.
All right, I'm getting some of these prepped here for you for Sid the Kid.
Reliable. You like this out? Solution oriented. Most importantly,
don't worry, we have AT&T internet backup.
next level network. I sold a pillow.
Oh, I got a real. Oh, hopefully this will. Oh, damn it! I was gonna say I had a real. Let's see if I can find another one here.
Johnson's the guy filling in for Lindell, and he's been so good at moments to the ice. Johnson, he's able to get a stick on that attempt by Connor McDavid. The best look for McDavid so far in this first period. And a heck of a play by Johnson. And a heck of a play back at the other end. Darnell Harris makes a good play.
All right, I got some of the Sidney Crosby's here prepped.
Offensively. Deflected out and playing off the stick and Stankoven. Oh, to be a Dallas sports fan.
Wow, they did. Swept Ontario, really. Wow, I was going to say, I don't remember any sweeps before that. So, wow, making history. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. No, I hear you. All right, less than 3 minutes to go here in the first period. 4 shots on goal for the Stars, 3 for the Oilers. Let's take a look. And again, the lineups are going to not be as good without Rupee Hintz in there. They usually have this like all-star lineup. It's usually their power play lineup the Stars have, where they have maybe 4 out of the 5, in the power play where you feel that any of them could score. And it's probably the most deadly, power play lineup based off like quality of players and their chances of being able to score. I think that out of the 4 teams that are left, that special power play unit that the Stars use is the best one out of the 4 teams that they have left. They got, what do they have in right now? They got Tanev, Lindell, Robertson, Stankoven, and Johnston with Ottinger, Carrick, Brown, Janmark, Nurse, and Deschanel. No worries. I don't like to see my friends struggle, especially if you're feeling under the weather. Marchment with the good defense there on Connor McDavid, so that way he couldn't really get a full shot there. And obviously frustrating Connor McDavid is going to be huge because you don't want to have him get going. No problem. Appreciate you. Wow. That's awesome. Heck yeah. See if we can end up getting some late effort here. And again, as anyone that watches the NHL on the regular or even occasionally, the really great teams in the NHL, they don't give up, in the last 2 minutes. A lot of times, you get the teams that are average or below average that kind of let up a little bit, knowing that they're going to be going into intermission. But again, the really, really solid elite teams, right? They go after it all the way until it hits zero, because you just never know, when you got a couple players on the other team that are just letting up just a little bit, that might be just what the other team needs to slide a goal in, on the top shelf when maybe they don't assume it's coming. And again, just being able to play all the way through to the end of the, first period whistle. We'll see if we get some good energy here in the last minute 35. Fast break. Oh, what a save by Ottinger. That was the best chance that Edmonton has had all night. Great defense there. Now a little 2-on-2. Oh. Janmark, Nurse, Ryan, McLeod, Dadonov, Suter, Ben, Heiskanen. All right, getting close here to the end of the first period. Oh, is that a penalty? Uh-oh. Here we go. Let me see what kind of lineup we have here. Missed opportunity for Edmonton, just wide left. Ottinger a little out of position. He was sliding left when that puck went right. Holloway on Jamie Benn for holding. Dylan in the penalty box. All right, here we go. Let's see if Dallas will make the change and put the right pieces in. The lineup right now isn't very good in this power play. Suter, Ben, Dadonov, Lindell, Robertson. So if I had to put money on it, I doubt that they score on this power play, at least in this period. Once it carries over into the beginning of the second period, depending on who they start, that might be better. Okay, they made the change now. Now they got Pavlevsky, Ben, Robertson, Heiskanen, and Johnston. So they can score on this lineup. I was about to say, if they didn't make a change, they got to be able to put their best five in. And normally you would have, Rupi Hintz in this lineup right now as well. They got 2 centers, 2 left wingers, and a defenseman here in this lineup. So it is possible that Dallas could end up, if they can find that right crease. And they got CC, Nurse, McLeod, Foegle. They're on Edmonton. Less than a minute to go. But that's one thing that I have noticed, compared to, the other teams. Dallas has really made it a point to have their best 5 on every power play that matters. And normally they get goals off their power plays more times than not, too, especially if they have that all-star lineup in there. Oh, what a save! Skinner, wow. Seguin.
Left arm and the left hip. Yeah, that's a left-hand shot.
Oh,
One-time opportunity, but because
good defense there by Skinner.
Even though he was on his knees, another important save for Skinner.
And I'm not sure how many goals you're going to get low. I mean, I feel like top shelf is where you're going to need to go. End of the first period, 0-0 Oilers and Stars. All right, let's get some photos queued up here. Seven shots on goal for the Dallas Stars, 3 for the Oilers. 14 huge hits for Dallas, 9 for Edmonton. No penalty minutes for the Stars, so they've been very clean. 4 penalty minutes for Edmonton, but they haven't been able to cash in just yet. And a little bit of an alarming stat, Edmonton with a face-off percentage of 56.3 to 43.8 for the Stars. All right, let's see what we got here for some photos. A few Sidney Crosbys.
The Cantina chicken burrito isn't just for late night because it keeps it light with slow roasted shredded chicken and finely shredded purple cabbage in a freshly grilled tortilla that's not shredded. Introducing the new Cantina chicken burrito, only at Taco Bell.
Blue Jays beat the Tigers 9-1.
Some of you are concerned about the fact that I'm taking up the company. Well, rest assured, the company's in great hands. Marcy, hit the Homes.com. We've done.
All right, I'll get you some more here. Get some dredge.
It's worth celebrating. I love it. Thank you. Homework. Very clever. Very clever. Homes.com.
She looks terrible. You look fine. She's perfect. Not like the genetic absurdities you have for sons. Soccer radar.
Geico can help when you're locked out with their easy app at 24/7 help.
Yeah, you don't have to make this so tough on yourself. Geico can help us get into our locked car. See?
Yeah. Where's the bullet? Maybe I'm just nostalgic for the good old days. Before we had Geico's great coverage and 24/7.
All set, guys.
Let's go again.
Whatever you need, from coverage to service, get more with Geico.
In English, what's the hardest thing to say?
Anything with the TH.
They threw the hint. 6th, 4th, 5th, and then 6th.
Or you mean what's really hard emotionally to say?
Yeah, like that.
Oh. Goodbye.
I forgive you.
I was wrong.
For me, it's saying I love you. That's tough to say in any language. At FanDuel, we speak high.
You think so? That would be the next one?
Bet on the NHL. But you want to bet on the clapper to light the lamp? Root for some winner to start.
Those Coachella jerseys are kind of cool looking.
Attendee puts up a great wall of pillows. This hockey season, FanDuel lets you bet on the boys any way you want. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Silence bonus. The tornado hit. You cannot outrun this. You cannot outrun it.
It really is a terrifying experience.
It is the stuff of nightmares.
You can hear it and feel it.
My eyes and my throat were burning. I'm going to die, and I thought that was it.
Why on Earth with Leah Trumper premieres June 2nd at 9 on CNN. Ready to show the world how good I am. The athletes in AEW it's one of Jacob's old inside wrestling. All see the air to the fire, but the three, show the fear.
Trained all over the globe, and that's what you're going to see in AEW, a whole different beast.
AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite at 8 on TBS.
It's Lexington Division Report, Game 1, Western Conference Final. One of the big questions, how Stuart Skinner would react to this. Look pretty solid. Stuff a couple point-blank efforts right here. His confidence was the question.
Yeah, no.
So far, so good for Skinner as well as Ottinger.
Team, obviously. And when you start a new series, you want to continue building on that confidence. And great first player for him. And I also think where the team is at with him now, he said,
Oh, yeah, Winter Classic. Yeah,
he
for
wants
sure.
to establish himself a little bit, also show his teammates that I can do this. I want to be the guy. So that was a great start for him in this series.
He must have loved his positioning there, Hank, right? The first shot hit him. He was in perfect position to make that second save. He was not in position.
Yeah, and because he's so big,
if you look at his stance, he keeps his arm very close to his body. So it's more for him to have a good position and use the body more than reacting on a lot of shots. So on the rebound, even he's not reaching for anything. He's more just trying to get the body there because of his size, right? So positioning, not to be overly aggressive. I liked his first period.
Henrik Lundqvist and Carter leading the cue ball as a net, the great one, Wayne Gretzky. We talked about the possibility of a feeling out process.
All right, let me make some room here real quick.
You feel good about the first period?
I do for Edmonton. I thought that they did a lot of good things in that period. But one of the things
Wayne Gretzky, the great one.
and it's nothing new for this team because Dallas is going to play them physical. But 29 and 97, they'll take a hit to make the play. They're not going to shy away from anything. And the
All right,
other
make
guys,
some more room
physical
here.
guys for Edmonton, they got to be as physical as the Dallas guys. That's a big must for this team. Let Leon and let Connor, let Hyman do their thing. If you're a physical player, take the body every single shift.
I love it. Wayne Gretzky.
Sarah in the building. How are you?
Physical play. That's a call.
Let me throw up a Mike Modano and a Wayne Gretzky for the two teams, and then I'll get a couple more photos there for Megan as well, and then any other NHL legends. If anyone wants anything after I get those up, then we'll see what we have left for time as we get into the second period. We'll go with Mike Modano here first, and then we'll go to Wayne Gretzky, obviously for Edmonton, and then we will do a couple more of Megan's favorites, and then go from there.
So I think they're going to continue to see the guys lay the body, and completely agree with you. Edmonton's going to have to impose their will on the skilled players for Dallas as well, and you're going to have to see that as the series progresses.
So McDavid, he's taking some hits, he's making plays. What do you think of the plays he's making so far? 20 minutes.
I love what he's doing. Like a big fact, the Dallas Stars are shutting down number 97. And it started early. You know, you're defending in layers. You have 4 players back. Active sticks, take away the guts of the ice.
And obviously, Dallas is trying to win their first Stanley Cup since the late 90s there with Mike Modano. It's been a long time. The Mike Modano statue.
You know exactly what number 97 is. And for Dallas Stars, you're going to be aware of everyone else is on the ice because you know where you're going to find them. Now, when he has opportunities, he's got a snipe. Like Gretz, we were talking off camera a little bit. Connor McDavid has to shoot the puck. He hasn't been shooting the puck that much in the postseason. And to be equally as effective as a passer, he's got to get to shoot the puck and be a threat to shoot the puck.
Yeah, it's kind of a different year for him this year compared to last year. It seemed like he was shooting all the time last year. Even during the regular season, he was more of a playmaker. But he is probably the most accurate and one of the hardest shots in the game. So if he gets a 50-50 opportunity, just get it to the net because his shot is as good as anybody in the National Hockey League.
I can tell you, too, as a goalie, when you face a player eye to eye and he chooses to pass, that can become a little stressful for a goalie because suddenly you need to be very patient. You understand, so you need to be so aware of who's next to him. Right? There's so many times as a goalie, you want that shot because you can see it, you're in good position, and then they decide to go cross ice instead. Sometimes you just want that, especially early on in the series. You want to build confidence. You want to touch that puck as much as possible. So when guys have an opportunity and choose to pass, it's not always great for goalies. You want to go for that save in the first place.
There also is a little bit of speculation that he's got some bumps and bruises, McDavid, and that's maybe why we're not seeing him fire the puck like we did last year. So that pass first mentality, obviously in that play over to Nugent Hopkins, that could be in the back of the net. But I wonder if that's going to become a problem because he can become such a threat on his own. But if they know it's going to be pass first every time, if that injury is in fact real, that's going to be tough sledding.
Well, do you feel like he's passing up shots he ordinarily would be taking?
I felt there was a lot of examples in last series on the power play where you were like, oh, maybe he should have taken that. Maybe he should have taken that. And then they kept adding up to the point where the questions have been arise, where I don't have the answer to it. This is all just purely speculation. I don't know if the guy next to me knows anything. My brother locked his mouth. I couldn't get any info out of him. No, listen, it's playoff time. Everybody plays with minor injuries, right? It's a physical series, and you got to be a man out there. Big players got to take hits to make plays, and the defensive guys got to take the body every time. It's a hard game, and that's why it's so rewarding when you get your name on the Stanley Cup.
Man, look at that hair.
Listen, pure respect.
No wonder he's the greatest of all time.
Each and every night. Not that speculating. Stuart Skinner. Just let us know.
Oh, I already knew they were going to lose. You know, like I said, I don't trust any of the pitching staff besides Brian Wu. And again, we never play good in the morning or afternoon. So for us to lose 5-0, I was not surprised one bit. Nice vintage photo of Wayne.
Get your girls out this summer with Pepsi, the official beverage of Girls Night Out.
I want my food to look the best it possibly can. I want my customers to look at that meat and say, wow, like real meat is something that you can taste the difference in. Raised without antibiotics, all that stuff. It's good. It's quality food.
This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff.
We're at intermission, still 0-0. 7 shots on goal for the Stars, 3 for the Edmonton Oilers. 14 big hits for Dallas, 9 for Edmonton. 4 penalty minutes for the Oilers, 0 for the Stars. Face-off percentage, Edmonton 56.3, Dallas 43.8.
Happy birthday, Marty. Oh, no, you don't. Let me get this.
Thanks. You're too kind. I've heard that.
Unlimited 2% cash back. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card.
We're from the future.
We're here. 6 months.
And we got 57-51 Celtics up on the Pacers by 6 at halftime. If you follow the NBA or care about it. Sure, I got you.
Not like this.
The Dragon. Streaming exclusively on Max.
Here in Puglia, Italy. Chefs preparing for the performance of a lifetime.
They live together, cook together,
But compete against each other.
bringing every ounce of passion to make it through.
The stage is set for drama.
But only one chef.
Can steal the show.
All new Channel Vibes, Sunday night on Food Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Starting tonight on True TV, and for each game of the Western Conference Finals and all new NHL DataCast powered by AWS, we'll dive into the game like never before using cutting-edge data, real-time analytics, and in-depth insights. Steve Mears, Colby Armstrong, and Mike Kelly on that show over on True TV. Take a look. DraftKings Sportsbook odds to win the series. Dallas slight favorite. -120.
Dallas slight favorite to win the series here on DraftKings. Just barely, though.
Get a bonus bet of up to $1,500 if your first bet does not hit. Get set second period.
Oh.
I'm so excited to see you back in the hotel with that sign pressed to the glass.
That's the four seasons they kick out of us for that.
You get better when you're not blamed for a condition you can't control. You'll get better when your pain isn't minimized, dismissed, or forgotten. We will never stop trying to get better. Because when medicine gets better, all of us
can get better. Men tell us when they use Just for Men to eliminate gray, there's a great before and after. Then there's the after. That boost you get when you look and feel your best. And that's why more men choose Just for Men. Body Armor Sports Drink. Real sweeteners, real flavors, real love of sport. Body Armor, the new official sports drink of the NHL.
Summer starts now. The new DQ Summer Blizzard menu. New peanut butter cookie dough party, new picnic peach cobbler, and more delicious flavors. Start summer now. Only at DQ. Happy tasting good.
Fire up the party. Get the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill. Smoke, roast, and sear on the same grill. Go from low and slow to high heat and sear food directly on the flame. Get fired up for your new Weber Searwood Pellet Grill.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance and I saved hundreds. That's great. I know, I've been telling everyone. Liberty. Liberty. How many people did you tell? Only paid for what you need.
Liberty, liberty,
Liberty.
Discover customer service. This is Maya.
Oh, hi, Maya. You robots are sounding more human.
All right, no worries, brother.
At Discover, everyone can talk to a human representative.
All right, prove it.
Wait, are you a robot?
24/7 US-based customer service.
How would I prove that I'm not?
And then tomorrow, since we are going to DC, I believe it'll be, it's a pretty, let's see what the exact time is. So tomorrow's stream is going to start at 3:45 Pacific. So it'll be 12:45 your time, a little early. George Kirby tomorrow going against Mackenzie Gore. Hopefully we can find a way to get a dub. Mariners are 27-24, first place. Nats 21-27. So we should be able to get it done, but we'll see. Yeah, well, 3:45, you know. So normally it would be a 6:45 game on the East Coast. It's a lot better than playing at 9:30 like we did this morning. If you want to talk about early, today's game was early. 9:30? Who the fuck plays baseball at 9:30 in the morning? Like, those guys didn't even wake up. No wonder they only got 3 hits. We're going to get started here in the second period now. Let's go. Thumbnail turned out good. Oh, Connor McDavid. Joe Pavelski, baby. Game number 1. Let's go. All right, start of the second period. Here we go. All right, we still got the power play. Robertson, Heiskanen, Harley, Stankoven, and Johnston. Eichholm, Nugent, Hopkins, Ryan. Stankoven. Power play is just running out. Everything is even now. Good save there by Ottinger.
Well, look at the penalty kill job that Edmonton has done so far. Chris Knobloch talked about it with Jackie and face-off win.
59-52 Celtics on the Pacers. All right, brother. Have a good one. Congrats to your sister, and I'll see you tomorrow. Edmonton Oilers killed off 16 consecutive power plays. That's impressive. 0 for 2 on the power play tonight for Dallas. That needs to change. You don't want to let Edmonton hang around. Otherwise, they might end up dropping this first game. Oh, and there it is. Draisaitl with the snapshot. 1-0 Oilers, and they're going crazy. Again, like I said, there's more pressure on Dallas in this series and New York and obviously the East than there is on Florida and Edmonton. Just based on past experiences of Dallas's failures, I think Edmonton is going to be a little bit more loose, and Dallas might be the better team, but there's a lot of pressure off that deflection off the player. Nice shot there by Leon. 1-0. Woo! Draisaitl. Snapshot assisted by Brett Kulak. 1-0 Oilers.
Ninth goal of the postseason for Leon Draisaitl. He has a point in all 13 games.
Wow, he's got a point in all 13 games. All right, Leon, way to be consistent. And I feel like if Edmonton wins game one, it gives them a better chance to win the series overall. If they don't win game one, it definitely heavily favors Dallas. But again, Dallas is kind of known for choking, with the Cowboys. We'll see with the Mavericks, besides, obviously the Dirk Nowitzki team. But, maybe things will be different this year, with the Dallas Mavericks if they can get past the T-Wolves. But if you get past the T-Wolves, can you beat Boston? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Wow, look at that. Bobby Orr, Messier, McKinnon. Wow, look at those names. And again, if Edmonton, has that lingering injury with Connor McDavid and they're able to get out of this first game without really him being an impactful player, that says a lot about Edmonton. And then obviously Skinner, is going to have to play well the rest of the way for them to get this victory. Tanev, Robertson, Harley, Stankoven, and Johnston for the Stars. Ekholm, Carrick, Brown, Janmark, and Nurse for the Oilers. And obviously now Dallas fans are a little bit more on edge. They were already a little bit on edge, excited but on edge in that first period in pregame, and then now down 1-0. Better hope you don't get down 2-0. Nice save by Skinner. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. And shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well as YouTube. Do your boy a solid and smash the like button so that way we can get to 20. We're way behind the 8 ball there. We need 4 more to get to 10. 2 more to get to 10, and then hopefully we can get to 20. And we need 12 more people between now and the end of the stream to hit that number. Hopefully we can get to 15 or 20 before the stream ends. And we'll see what other goats come through to see if we can get a few more donos on the dono train going. We're at 5:95 to go. Jason in the building. What's good? How are you, brother? And we'll be back at it tomorrow at 3:45 Pacific for the Mariners and the Nationals on Friday. On Saturday, I'm going to be doing the WWE King and Queen of the Ring. I believe that'll be on at 10 a.m. on Saturday. The Mariners play after that at like 1:10. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end up doing both streams. I'll probably just do the WWE stream and then watch the Mariner game with Paisley. And then on Sunday, I know the Mariners play early at like 10:30. So we may take the day off on Sunday while I watch the Mariners and watch the NASCAR Cup Series. But and then we may end up doing the NHL playoff game. I believe it will end up being the opposite series where it's the Rangers and the Florida Panthers. I believe they play on Sunday. So maybe we end up doing that on Sunday for that particular stream for that day. Less than 17 minutes to go here in the second period. 1-0 Oilers. Leon Draisaitl assisted by Kulak and Zach Hyman. 1-0 Oilers here in the second period. I did hear that with Triple H with that notification that came through on my phone this morning. Should be, I don't know what the match card looks like, but hopefully it ends up, being somewhat diva. Oh, 2-on-2. Oh, good defense there by the Stars. And another goal. Dallas is fucked. 2-0 Oilers. They're done. Hyman with a wrister. And again, big, road victories. You got Florida to beat up on the Rangers. 3-0 last night. And you're pacing for a 3-0 or maybe even more. And again, the pressure is on Dallas based off their past and choking. And again, they up to this point, they took care of the Vegas Golden Knights. They, took care of the Colorado Avalanche, but not a whole lot of action with Connor McDavid, but again, they don't need it. Leon and Zach says, don't worry, Connor, we'll take over. 2-0 Edmonton as the Dallas Stars fan puts their heads in the pillow and turn the game off. Brutal. Sorry, LG. Sorry to all the other Dallas fans, but still can win the series. But obviously Edmonton winning game 1 gives them a hell of a lot better of a chance to win the series overall. And it's not over. We're still in the second period, but based off the flow of the game, things better fucking change, and you better, really adapt and hit on the power play. Because if you're not hitting on the power play, I don't think Dallas has a chance coming back in game 1. We got Liv and Becky, Cody and Logan Paul. Okay. Yeah. Well, once you look it up and you let me know. But and at what time is it on? Is it on at 10 a.m.? And like I said, the last 2 pay-per-views in the last 2 months, I normally love doing WWE pay-per-views, but we had one in Australia that was on at 5 to 8 a.m. in the morning. Then we had another one in France that was on at 10 a.m. I should have done that one. I was stupid. If I, would have known that was the first pay-per-view in history in France, I should have known the crowd was going to be like that. And I fucked up. That was my fault. I should have done that pay-per-view at 10 a.m. last month. But of course, the crowd isn't going to be as good here in Saudi Arabia. You got all the rich Saudi princes and, and their sons and their family that are going to be there. And there's no Jinder Mahal, to be able to represent, for that fan base like in years past. But I'm going to end up doing that pay-per-view. I can't go 3 months in a row without doing a WWE pay-per-view. So pretty crazy. They've had 3 international pay-per-views in a row. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. But again, they're trying to, capitalize on the money and the fan base overseas, and I understand why. I don't watch the Indy 500 every year, but since Kyle Larson qualified, I probably will take a peek, to see how, good, he might. I don't assume that he's not going to win it, but again, it would be really cool to see if he can finish in the top 5 or top 10. He qualified well, but again, he's going to have to double dip, obviously with the Indy 500 and then doing the NASCAR Cup race after.
You got to get Skinner moving. I mean, that's the key. I mean, he's a big guy. He takes up a lot of space. You can see when he's in the blue paint, even though he can't play a bit deeper, he gets away with it because of his size. Hank talked about it so often in the studio. The key is to get it moving. And if you get it moving east-west, that's where the holes start to present themselves. But so far,
Sami Zayn and Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. That'll be good. That one might be the sleeper of the show right there. I think it would have been better if it was Sami Zayn and Chad Gable 1-on-1. Then that one would be like insanity. But I guess if you got Bronson Reed, that gives them another person. They can do double team moves and they might have some more spots. But that one kind of seems like the sleeper match of the night. That one might steal the show. Liv and Becky, Cody and Logan, I don't know. Seems like the Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed sounds like the best one out of the 3 matches that you've listed. I mean, I love Cody, but, we'll see what Cody and Logan Paul have set up, but I don't know. it doesn't really scream like an amazing match, just as I look at it, and then Liv and Becky have a chance to be a little boring, in my opinion. That doesn't sound like it's going to be that great. Oh, there we go. Stars get on the board off the rebound. Tyler Seguin with the poke. Jamie Benn with the assist. There we go. Thank God. I was hoping that Dallas wouldn't get down 3-0, because then if it's 3-0, then it's really over. But 2-0, you can still fight back. And now the crowd is in it, and maybe they'll have a good chance to tie it up 2-2. But again, the longer you can take the Dallas crowd out of it, nice steal right there by Jamie Benn to set up Tyler there. And he kept poking. Good steal right there by Jamie Benn. There we go. Nice job by Dallas. Yeah, Griffey. Yeah, that's going to be cool. It makes me wonder if he wasn't driving the pace car, if he was going to be there to do pictures, since, him and Randy Johnson do photography professionally now. So, but I imagine he'll have his camera with him. Well, I'm really happy that Dallas scored, because I didn't really want to sit here through, 3 periods of a 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 kind of game. I mean, of course I would have, but, you like to be able to see games that are close, not like last night's game where Florida beat the shit out of New York, and New York couldn't even score once, and Florida ended up winning 3-0. So I'm very happy Dallas fought back there. And I was a little concerned with no Rupee Hintz in the lineup too, so nice job by Dallas for fighting back. So we'll do the Mariner game versus the Nationals at 3:45 Pacific tomorrow. We'll do the WWE pay-per-view at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then I'll just watch the Mariner game with Paisley afterwards at 1. And then on Sunday, I believe it'll be the Rangers and the Florida Panthers on Sunday, based off the, they go back and forth. They flip-flop on days, but let's take a peek. So Sunday will be, it's Rangers and Panthers at noon. So I thought it was going to be on at like maybe 5, so I'm not going to do that either. So Sunday might be just a day off, so that way I can end up watching the NASCAR Cup Series. NASCAR Cup Series at Charlotte. And then that one's on at 3. So Mariner game tomorrow, WWE pay-per-view on Saturday, and then probably Sunday day off, while I'll end up watching, Mariners. I'll end up watching a little bit of the NASCAR Cup Series, and then we got the Mariners and Astros starting it off on Monday. So should be exciting. No worries. It's all good. Like, sub, donate, comment, share.
Following the Mavs victory last night. 7:30 Eastern tomorrow on TNT. There's Evan Bouchard. Second steal splits in the middle, and there you see the chip right. Looks like they either caught him on the hand and then the knee, or maybe all leg. Referee Eric Perlap was very demonstrative. Right call made. Opportunity here, Dallas with the momentum.
All right, let's see if Dallas can keep fighting. I just wish Rupee Hintz wasn't injured. I'd feel a lot better about this game 1 if he was there and playing. But as long as he's back by game 2, then that's going to be huge. Probably the biggest X factor on, both teams combined. Less than 13 minutes to go here in the second period. Let's see if Dallas can capitalize on this power play and tie this game up. They got Pavleski, Ben, Robertson, Heiskanen, and Johnson, and this is their power lineup. And obviously, Rupee Hintz would be one of those guys that was in there, probably in there for Ben or for Heiskanen or Johnston. It probably would be replacing Johnston in this particular lineup. But I do like the Dallas's power play lineup. They usually have the strongest out of the 4 teams that are left. Marchment, Robertson, Heiskanen, Stankoven, and Johnston. But Edmonton has been very good on, capitalizing off good opportunities. Nice save by Ottinger. And they've been able to prevent goals, was like last 13 to 16 on the power play, the graphic said a few minutes ago. So nice stop by Jake Ottinger. Duchesne, Marchment, Robertson, Heiskanen, Stankoven. Leon, Zach, and Tyler, I see you. Less than 12 minutes to go here in the second period. 2-1 Oilers. 82-71. Celtics up on the Pacers with 3:44 left in the third quarter, if you care. Stankoven. Get stanky. Set him up. Edmonton's got great spacing on the power play, too. That's why they end up stopping a lot of those opportunities. Good deflection off Skinner. Oh, really? Yeah, Kraken still haven't hired a head coach. I've heard some more rumors on guys that they possibly could be looking at, but maybe Megan would know. But still, there hasn't been anybody officially announced.
Smith with the puck for the Stars. Now the Donoff, stick handling. In behind the net. Out in front. Puck out of the zone. Cannon.
Cubs Cardinals on ESPN on Sunday night at 4. At some point, I'm going to have to try to squeeze in some games from other teams. I would like to be able to do Pittsburgh at some point, to be able to have Paul Skeens, to be able to, do a matchup while he's pitching to see if he can get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Ks. But that matchup should be good for your Cardinals, Sarah, going against the Cubs. That's a tough test. Cubs and Brewers are pretty good this year in the Central. But obviously you guys sweeping the Orioles, you guys are confident now. Still got some, ground to make up, but obviously anytime you can sweep Baltimore, that's going to help. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second period. 2-1 Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Tyler Seguin. 2-1 Oilers. How many matches are we slated to have on the King and Queen of the Ring? Oh, big hit. Hyman. Oh, 2-on-2. Oh, another big hit. Oh, another big hit. Oh, they're getting scrappy now. Oh, another big hit. Man, they are getting chippy out there. We might have some gloves drop in the third period. And I don't know if they'll do it here in the second, but I like the physicality. Ben, Dadonov, Petrovic, Seguin, and Harley. 5 matches. 3 games behind Cubs. Nice. You guys really made up some ground. And then when you swept the Baltimore Orioles, was it a 4-game series? I assume it was 4, right? Not 3? 5 matches, it kind of seems like, I know that's not a lot, but it's better than having 8 matches and having 3 be kind of like filler matches that end up bringing the overall score of the pay-per-view down. So yes, less matches. So, less wrestlers being able to showcase their talents, but out of 5, you have a better chance of having like a 9, or better, a 8.5, 9.5 number, rather than having 8 matches and then having it be like a 7 overall, because those extra 3 matches might end up being like 5s, 6s, 7s, 7.5. So I like the direction of them going with less matches, and they're going for more quality than quantity. Now, the Triple H era is great. So King of the Ring finals. Queen of the Ring finals. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, sleeper match. Cody and Logan, and then Liv and Becky. Okay. Hopefully Liv and Becky and Cody and Logan, they, make it fast paced. Hopefully it's not slow. You already know Cody and Logan will have the athleticism, to give you something. But with Liv and Becky, it's not like Bianca and Charlotte or something of that nature. So it's like, I'm not saying that they're bad wrestlers, but again, it's like, hopefully they can make it fast paced to kind of keep our attention, and so it doesn't get kind of slowed down and bogged down with the flow of the match. So SummerSlam. Ooh, that'll be cool. So they're going to have SummerSlam 2 nights, and then they're going to have WrestleMania continue to be 2 nights. That's awesome. I don't mind that, especially SummerSlam, like if Royal Rumble, obviously is 1 night, but, if it's Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and obviously Survivor Series used to be the big one, but I feel that one isn't as important as it was in years past. I feel like Survivor Series was like really top-notch, top 4 pay-per-view with those other 3 back in the day. But I think now, like Money in the Bank and a few of the others have kind of caught up to Survivor Series where it's not as important as it was back when I was a kid. But I feel now it's like Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania are the top 3. And then usually you'll have like the 4th best one could change from year in and year out. It may not be the same, pay-per-view every year that's like the 4th best. It might be, Money in the Bank 1 year, and then maybe it might be Survivor Series the next, and then it might be one of the other ones, down the road, as like maybe the 4th best throughout the year. But I don't mind SummerSlam. Hell, I wouldn't even mind if Royal Rumble ended up being 2 nights, if they ended up having enough matches for it. Like if they did like a women's Royal Rumble on 1 night and a men's Royal Rumble on the other night, and then they had specific matches, 4 matches, including the Royal Rumble on 1 night, Saturday, and then 4 on Sunday, if they were going to build it up. I know that's not probably going to happen, but hell, 2 nights is cool. I'll take that. But for now, to do WrestleMania and SummerSlam 2 nights that sounds awesome. And maybe one day we'll have Royal Rumble on, I mean, if they're already doing it with SummerSlam, I mean, the next one in line would be Royal Rumble. More money for them, right? Less than 8 minutes to go in the second period. 2-1 Edmonton. Duchesne Smith, Fox, Heiskanen, and Harley. Kane, Ekholm, Nurse, Draisaitl, and Holloway. Connor McDavid nowhere to be seen. Ruby Soho. Ruby Riot. It's like, where's McDavid? Finally back on the ice. Come on, Connor. Yeah, I think Survivor Series is no longer coveted. I feel like like Money in the Bank, I think is taking over, and it's been like that for a while. Like Survivor Series used to be like really coveted and passionate, special, just like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. But I feel like the way that they've been making the matches and what happens if you win, obviously if you win Money in the Bank, you get a chance to cash in for the title. That means more than anything that they do on Survivor Series, unfortunately. So I would agree with that too. I think Money in the Bank has been the number 4, most important pay-per-view the last few years.
Game 1 tonight, Western Conference. Game 2 tomorrow from the Garden. The Panthers with a series lead 1-0. We'll be back here on Saturday night. Our friends, of course, over at ESPN will have that game tomorrow at the Garden. We'll be here Saturday. Then the venue change. South Florida and.
All right, we hit 10 likes. We need 5 more to get to 15. If you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please do. We're at 11. So if anyone is watching on the Twitter/X side, we need 9 people to hop over and smash the like button to get us to 20, or if we get more people to come through before the stream ends. Oh, Ottinger with a nice save. Dallas has got to help them out with their players, their wingers, their defensemen. You got to make sure you get it out of the crease. You don't want to have all these extra opportunities for Edmonton, to get off the rebound. Suter, Petrovic, Robertson, Stankoven, and Johnston. Carrick, Cece, Brown, Nurse. Therefore, and Connor McDavid does look injured. I mean, he's obviously coming back from the injury, but he definitely does not look 100%. And there's a lot of opportunities where it feels like, oh, he could score or he could make the assist, but it seems like he's kind of, giving it to the other players, and that's not really Connor McDavid, as being one of the best in the world. So the injury is obviously more significant than people have let on. Good defense there by Dallas with Lindell with the defense. Less than 5 minutes to go here in the second period. 2-1 Oilers. Where's the next pay-per-view, Sarah? We're not going to have 4 months in a row being overseas, international. Are we going to have one in the United States next month? And what is the pay-per-view next month? That's what I want to know. I want to know what the next pay-per-view is and where is it at? Is it in America? And hopefully it's on at like 5 o'clock Pacific, so that way I can do 2 streams in a day, or I can end up having it at more of a normal time. Obviously, if you live in the Midwest or East Coast, it doesn't really matter to you guys. You guys are going to have it at noon or 1. But for us here on the West Coast, I mean, man, 10 a.m. or earlier, that's pretty early. No, good deflection there by Dallas. 4 minutes to go. 14 shots on goal for the Stars. 12 for the Oilers. 18 big hits each. And we got 6 penalty minutes for Edmonton, 0 for Dallas. But they're not winning the faceoff percentage. Still 55% to 45%. They need to pick it up. Pavlevsky, Duchesne, Tanev, Lindell, Marchment. And again, if Dallas loses game 1, it's going to be because of Rupee Hintz not playing with his upper body injury. Haven't really seen a whole lot out of Pavlevsky or Robertson here, and you need those guys to step up. You can't have only one player, step up out of like the 5 or 6 studs. Again, that was the difference. Last year they didn't have enough guys step up together. This year it was a different story when they played the Vegas Golden Knights and eliminated them, as well as the Colorado Avalanche. But so far, they need more support. It's got to be more than just Tyler and Jamie Benn. Less than 3 minutes to go in the second period. 2-1 Oilers. Focus in the building. What's good, brother? Covered up there by Skinner. What's going on, Focus? How are you? Next one is Money in the Bank in Toronto in July. Oh, God, that's going to be amazing. The Toronto crowd, are you kidding me? Oh, my God, that's going to be... Anytime they go to Toronto or Calgary, anything in Canada is going to be better than anything in the United States. And then, of course, if you end up going to overseas, anywhere really besides where we're going this weekend, in Saudi Arabia, their crowd isn't very good. But you go to Germany, you go to France, you go to Australia, any of those other kinds of places, that energy is going to be very, very high. Oh, I bet. Connor McDavid still a little bit injured, but so far with Leon and Zach looking pretty good. And again, I feel that there's more pressure on Dallas in this series, more than Edmonton. And again, more pressure on the Rangers, compared to Florida. I mean, Florida is the better team. They won yesterday 3-0 over New York. But I feel with Dallas, from their past and just having those memories of choking, whether you want to, admit that those things the players think about or not, but again, it's like sometimes when you have a reputation of choking, sometimes it kind of creeps in those players' heads, even though that, they've kind of bucked that trend this year, eliminating Vegas and Colorado, but it's not going to be easy, again, with no Rupee Hintz. And if Edmonton can take advantage of that, even if it's only one game without Rupee, again, that's going to be a huge advantage for Edmonton. And then your girlfriend might be a little bit happier there. Clash of the Castle in Scotland for Drew McIntyre. You know that crowd is going to be lit as well. I like it. So it sounds like Toronto. So you go Scotland, Toronto, and then SummerSlam in Cleveland. And then Berlin. Wow, they are really going international to make that money. But again, if they can charge more money than the American fans, and those fans are going to pay, and then, and if they're going to have better crowds, yeah, well, you might as well have them international. If they want more pay-per-views in America, the fans need to be louder and they need to be better, Again, and I've been watching WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW, anything wrestling. I've been watching it, since like 85. And I'll tell you, that France crowd in the last pay-per-view might have been the best crowd I've ever heard, ever, out of any pay-per-view or any event I've ever seen wrestling, ever. Like, it was nonstop cheering, nonstop singing, nonstop chanting for 3 hours plus. I've never seen that before. And even singing word for word, for theme songs for Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Even Randy said he's never heard any fans sing his song before, ever. So I thought that was cool. And they hopefully will be back, obviously there next year. Rough one for the Mariners. Focus, obviously, against the Yankees. First 2 games were great. Last 2 games were shitty. Only pitcher I trust right now is Brian Wu. I don't trust Castillo. I don't trust Kirby with the right knee injury. I don't trust Miller. I used to trust Logan Gilbert, but I don't trust him now. The last 3 starts have been rough. So really, Brian Wu is the only one. Julio hasn't got going, but at least Demo and a few others have been able to step up. So it's not been pretty, but we're still in first place, right? Demo has been great. Right, Luke Raley's been fantastic, but hopefully we get a little bit more consistency with the pitching, and hopefully Julio will heat up at some point or another. And we need Rojas to start heating up also. Good save by Skinner. Less than 2 minutes to go here in the second period. 2-1 Edmonton. Oh, it's right there. Oh, my God, Dallas missed an opportunity. Wow. That net was open. My. Less than a minute 30 to go here in the second period. I mean, you've watched a lot of wrestling. You're around the same age as me and Sarah. Have you ever heard a crowd like that, like interactive? And even when they would be like singing and chanting, sometimes it was like in French, they 1, 2, da 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 da, and they were having their little chants. We didn't really know what the hell they were saying, but they kept repeating it over and over and over. But it was just cool because you had 11,000, fans in unison singing and chanting. I've never seen that before. There's been venues where they've had 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, but those 11,000 fans, like all of them were participating. And it was just magical, man. Like, something to learn, that hopefully, those French fans have rubbed off on some of the American fans. You already know the Canadian fans are very similar to the French fans as well. But I was blown away. And again, you can actually have like matches that might not be as good as maybe other pay-per-views, but if the crowd is into it, then it can bring a match that normally is like a 7, a 7.5, and it can turn into a 9 because the crowd is so involved, in the matchups. And again, when you have good crowds, it makes everything better in anything, wrestling or in basketball, baseball, football, or hockey, period.
We've seen it over the years, but especially teams that have been perfect.
Yeah, when that first start, they took him out because they just wanted to make sure that, it was preventative. But then the last 2, I mean, he's been lights out. He's looked fantastic. And, you're going to go through the ups and the downs through the season, and the pitching helped us early. But now it's like I don't trust anyone besides Wu, and hopefully I can trust a couple more starters, 3 out of 5 sooner than later. But again, and then also we need to be able to produce 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we're not able to produce 5 runs and 7 to 10 hits, we're going to lose 90% of those games. So we have to be able to figure it out. But with all that being said, and with all the problems that we have, a nice save we're still in fucking first place, and that's what fucking matters. End of the second period, 2-1 Oilers. Focus's girlfriend is happy. And again, more pressure on the Rangers and more pressure on the Stars compared to Florida and Edmonton. Those teams can play loose. But the difference is Edmonton is not favored. Florida is. And honestly, Florida might be, that might be the best team left out of the 4 teams. Florida might win it all. They got Sergei Bobrovsky. They got the best goalie, arguably. They got Tkachuk and company. So, I mean, I would not be shocked if Florida wins it all this year. But we'll see. Live events in Japan. Oh, man, Japan would be awesome, too. Again, we are, if you've ever watched NJPW or any of the old pay-per-views in the 80s and 90s in Japan, they love their wrestling and their baseball out there, too. Let's go. All right, end of the second period, 2-1 Oilers. Any photos that anyone wants to see as we're waiting, just fire away. Yeah, UK crowds. I mean, anything in Europe, anything in that general area is, and that area in Canada, it's game over. You already know that it's going to be amazing. Like the only thing I can compare like American crowds to like European crowds or Canadian crowds is when wrestling was in its prime in the 80s and the 90s. When we had, the Monday Night Wars, when you had everyone bring a sign and you had the NWO and you had DX. That was the last time, the American crowds could match up to the international crowds, but not anymore. There's just too many people that are just not, into the matches as much. And they, don't have that kind of passion. I feel like since we have so many pay-per-views and so many, SmackDowns and Raws and Dynamites, that like the American fan base has taken it for granted, and the European fan base, Canadian fan base, and everywhere else where they get less, then they end up being more loud because they really do appreciate, the opportunity to be able to watch, their favorites in person. So kind of makes sense. All right, you want some Drew? I got you. We'll hook up Focus's girlfriend with a little Edmonton love. Look at Wayne, the GOAT. While I get some Drew McIntyres lined up. 2-1 Oilers, end of the second period.
These territories, they will come try you. They will take from you. You are like clean from this land.
The best big man in wrestling. Best on the mic, best in the ring. Not even close.
The best nights start with Jägermeister. Making 56 botanicals. Always serve them. Moments with anticipation.
I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park.
This is the ultimate challenge. 40 miles in 40 days. Oh my God. Right now.
We cannot do this.
Nobody out here has seen day 22.
Who's gonna die? Stage. You want to play against the best. That's how you get better. You can't become the best unless you beat them. You're not afraid of any team. This guy has some serious confidence right now. We want to dominate. We want to win.
We need the best players to show up.
And show the world that we're capable of competing at a high level.
And hopefully Drew gets the belt opportunity again and has it longer than a minute. Of course, being champion during COVID, no fans there, but he's too good not to be able to have a belt. Same thing, like we said about Seth Rollins over all those years, and they had to make a new belt just for him, pretty much. And they definitely catered to too many individuals in the Vince McMahon era. So it's kind of nice to be able to see other guys get opportunities. But this is a guy that definitely deserves the gold, and longer than a minute for sure.
Listen, there's plenty of time for that number to decrease and to get the record just back. Don't worry about it. It's 2-1. Oilers up.
Trust me, I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Wayne Gretzky is here. Paul Bissett, Lee McHugh, Nancy Carter, and Henrik Lundqvist. Now, some of you were wondering if we knew that goal was coming from Leon.
It would kind of make sense, right? Being there in front of his home fans and whatnot, crowd goes crazy and whatnot. That would be kind of fitting if they did that. Predictable, but fitting.
I like them together after a penalty kill. You big penalty kill, momentum going your direction, and I want to keep the momentum going, so I'll put them together there.
It's sorcery. Call it.
That was pretty good.
Nia Jax isn't injuring people anymore. All right, so we got 18 shots on goal for Dallas, 16 for Edmonton, 20 big hits for the Oilers, 18 for the Stars, and then 6 penalty minutes for Edmonton, 2 for Dallas. But face-off percentage is 52.9 to 47.1 for Edmonton, and feels like Edmonton has got the momentum. No rupee hints, hard to win.
We'll get to that. Let's go back to Edmonton. So you have Draisaitl gets a goal. How about Zach Hyman, right? 54 goals in the regular season, now up to 12 here. Discover highlight. He's literally it's not how, it's how many guys.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's so easy playing with Connor McDavid, and to play with him, you're going to see exactly the skill set you have to have in order to be successful. First of all, you got to go to skate with them. And Zach Hyman.
Boston 104, Pacers 89. The Pacers, are they the worst Final Four team in an East-West final in the NBA in the last 10 or 20 years? Like, really? Like, Indiana? It shows you how weak the East really was this year. I mean, Boston had it so easy. So, again, they're not battle-tested at all. And we'll find out, what happens with Minnesota and with Dallas. I was actually hoping that Denver, was going to be able to advance. And if Denver ended up advancing and making it to the, championship against Boston, I don't think Boston would have been able to beat Denver, but Denver couldn't even get past Minnesota. So a lot of surprises this year in the NBA, but I don't think that's the Final Four that anyone anticipated. Pacers, Celtics, T-Wolves, and Mavs. Maybe Boston, but no one, not the other three.
Pushing to his left, and he opens up between his legs there. And a lot of times it's harder to make the save when a defenseman holds the stick, because as a goalie, you read where he's actually trying to go.
Yeah, they're done. I mean, even if he was on his game, they got no chance. It doesn't even matter if Boston has Porzingis or not. Guy can't play defense. He's a liability. But again, it's like, this is the best chance that Boston has to win the championship. But the thing is, yeah, you don't have to go against the Nuggets if you get there, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to beat Kyrie and Luka, or if you end up playing Ant and company, you could, but we'll wait and see. I don't know if there really is a clear favorite, out of the 4 teams, or really 3 teams. Can't really include Indiana.
And the other thing about it is it's a great lesson for young kids. So many offensive players, their habits are to make that big turn. You watch Zach Hyman, he stopped, he ends up with the puck, and he puts it in the net. That's a great lesson for all young hockey players.
We look at
Tell him, Wayne.
We automatically think of the high-end talent, the skill, and that translates to the power play. But the penalty kill has been outrageous at this point. 35 of 38 they have killed off. 35
out of 38 penalty kills. Goddamn, Oilers are good at defense. That's wild. And Dallas is usually very good with their power play lineup. It might be the best out of the 4 teams left. So if Edmonton's defense and their spacing is that good, that's incredible.
They need to make an impact. They break it up. They didn't get the clear, but still great tandem working together, forcing things down. They don't let them off the hook, and they stay consistent here. They end up getting a good stick-on puck, and they end up clearing the zone once again. So the fact that they're 92% in playoffs right now is insane. It's almost
92%, unreal.
But even going back to the last 41 games of the season, you would have thought you saw a trend in the right direction, but it was actually worse than their overall number at 76%. So I don't know. They just flipped the switch here come playoff time, and it's been a huge impact in their lineup, especially going back to last round against the Vancouver Canucks, and then obviously early on in this one against Dallas.
Even Astradamus didn't see that coming. Or Miss Cleo. Was there a Miss Cleo this week?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, of course, if you can end up, getting past the Denver Nuggets, of course you're playing pretty good ball. But I don't think anyone really anticipated these four teams, or these three other teams other than Boston, to get this far. Like before the playoffs started, as maybe Minnesota fans were hopeful, but it still kind of felt like it was going to be a Nuggets Celtics final. So I think it was more shocking the Nuggets lost rather than the T-Wolves won.
We are always in motion. Getting this, fixing that, arriving to destinations in life and around the globe. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's a blur. Because life never stops.
104-89 Celtics.
No matter where the future leads.
Orioles up 8-2 against the White Sox. Yeah, White Sox are terrible.
We love our new home.
Great neighborhood, big backyard.
But the land.
Let's take a peek to see where we're at. Hopefully we're a little bit closer to 15. We got one period to go for Dallas to see if they can make the comeback. Still need 4 more likes to get to 15. Hopefully we can get there.
Want nice? Don't call any bro. Call the Orchid Bro. Orchid, the best in pets.
Thanks belongs to you.
The only thing sweeter than summer break is a summer bake.
Pack your bags.
These bakers will take your taste buds on a trip.
It's time to dive in.
For the sweetest competition of the season.
All new Summer Baking Championship, Monday at 8 on Food Network and stream on Max.
Get ready to step right with AEW Big Fight.
Play as your favorite AEW wrestlers, upgrade your skills, and unleash devastating moves. The biggest names in AEW built this ultimate roster.
Where you at, Jason? Somebody's got to step up.
Stay tuned for the latest action. AEW Figure Fighter. Download now for free.
Where you at, Joe? Got to step up. Third period going to start here momentarily. Hopefully the Stars can tie it up to make it interesting.
Check it on the same game parlay that we were talking about. Edmonton scored the first goal, and the over on second period goals. So we only need a Dallas win, and say for the parlay to hit.
You never know.
Oh, I never know. All right, it's not too late. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code SKATE. New customers can get a bonus bet of up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. It's 2-1. We're headed to the third period, game 1 of the Western Conference Final.
All right, third period just about to get started.
incredible.
113-97 Celtics up on the Pacers. I can't believe the Pacers made it this far. That's wild. Would have been much better if it was like Boston and Milwaukee. Or like Denver and Minnesota. I think that would have been the best Final Four. Denver and Minnesota to go to the NBA Finals, and then Boston and Milwaukee to go to the NBA Finals for the East. But again, injuries are big. If you can't be able to get hot and healthy at the right time, you will get beat.
All three on us. Plus, check out tons more great deals. It's Red Hot Deal Days at Verizon. Hurry in. It's only until May 29th.
All right, let me take a look at some of the scores here. What do we got? All right, Orioles 8, White Sox 2. Oh, Yankees 5, Mariners 0. That's great. Giants 7, Pirates 6. Phillies 5, Rangers 2. Thank you, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is fucking hot. Padres 6, Reds 4, and final and 10. Elliot sent me some information about Jurickson Profar. He's like the second best hitter in baseball, which is wild. Braves 3, Cubs 0. Athletics 10, Rockies 9. And then Blue Jays 9, Tigers 1. Let's look at the matchups for tomorrow. Braves, Pirates, Blue Jays, Tigers, Mariners, Nationals, Royals versus the Rays, Dodgers and Reds, Brewers and Red Sox, Giants and Mets, Orioles and White Sox, Rangers and Twins, Cubs, Cardinals, Phillies and Rockies, and Guardians and Angels.
Which can also be your own quiet cabin in the woods. The fully electric Q8 e-tron, an electric vehicle that recharges.
Uh-oh. You might have a loss tomorrow. Mikolas going against Shada Imanaga, the best pitcher in baseball, 5-0 with a .84 ERA. The only pitcher in baseball with an under a 1 ERA. If you can win against Imanaga, wow, that would be something. But so far, he has been the best pitcher in baseball. If you can end up getting some runs and hits on him, that would be very impressive. I'll probably actually tune in to see how you guys do against him. But no one has been able to figure him out just yet. That's tough. That's like literally the hardest pitcher to face, right now in 2024, besides Skeens. So, yeah, well, we already know that. He's not good. He's been insane. Let's be honest, and then there's other Japanese pitchers, on the Dodgers and a bunch of other rookies and other players, that were a little bit more hyped up. I don't think anyone anticipated, Imanaga to be like insanely good. Let's think about it. Like how many games in we're in? We're like 50 games in. The guy's got under a 1 ERA. Like that. I don't even know what to compare that to. What do you compare that to? It's like, is there even a comparison to compare that to? I know you got guys like, Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson and like a lot of those legends and whatnot, but this day and age, you just don't have guys that have an ERA under 1 with this many games played already. So he's been insane. He's been amazing. I've seen a couple of his starts too, and I try to watch all his Skeens stuff. If I know he's pitching, I turn it on, even if it's like 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, I want to see how he looks, if he lives up to the hype. And he's probably the most hyped up pitcher since Steven Strasburg, and he looks much better than Strauss. So, but hopefully he doesn't throw his arm out with Tommy John. Again, pitching 101 every single pitch. At some point, your arm is going to fall off, you would assume. So, what's his ERA? Has he got a nice ERA? All right, here we go. Third period about to start. Yeah, but again, I think NHL and NASCAR Cup are much, much better than the NBA. And again, when you have those 4 teams left, it's kind of kind of makes you understand why the NBA is at where it's at. The only thing good left is obviously the NBA show on TNT, and now they're going to be moving over to NBC, Amazon and ESPN. So, that was the last good thing about the NBA, that show with, Kenny the Jet and Ernie and Shaq, and now we're not going to have that in Barclays. So Edmonton power play about to run out. 17 shots on goal apiece, 20 hits for Edmonton, 18 for Dallas, 6 penalty minutes for the Oilers, 2 for the Stars, and we'll see what happens here. Oh, wow, 0.57? Golly, that's amazing. So pitching is good this year, but now hitting is the problem. It would be nice to be able to figure it out. You know, it's like one thing. It's like, oh, hitting is good, but pitching sucks last year. Now, you know, pitching is good, but now hitting is a little bit of an issue. But sounds like, you know, since that Orioles series, things are getting better. You're starting to figure it out a little bit.
Sends it into the Dallas zone. It's an ice call. Faceoff will come back into the Oilers end. Oh, take a look at Stuart Skinner.
1.23. Woo! That's a nice ERA. And I'm happy that we got Andres Munoz. But again, we've always had good closers as of late, you know, but usually we let them go. Edwin Diaz to the Mets, right? Seawald to the Diamondbacks. At least we got Munoz. So we've always been kind of solid there. But if the Diamondbacks, you know, keep struggling and they decide to sell, I wouldn't mind Seawald coming back to the Mariners if we didn't have to give up too much to get him. Skinner, 16 saves on 17 shots faced. 2-1 Edmonton. 18 minutes to go. And again, I really do believe if Rupee Hintz was playing that Dallas would have more than one goal right now. Let's take a look to see what the lineup is. Suter, Ben, Petrovic, Stankoven, Johnston for Stars. And then they got Kane, Ceci, Kulak, McLeod there for Edmonton. 6-2. That's a great record. 2.8. Anything under 3 is amazing. And again, pitchers have been dominating the league. You know, again, batting averages and team batting averages have been really low, you know, overall for most teams. And it seems like pitching is, you know, been much better for, you know, a lot of these studs that we've been seeing. Less than 18 minutes to go. 2-1 Oilers. Good defense there.
Back around. Connor Brown for Edmonton. Out to the left point. Got by Kulak.
Oh, good defense.
Oh, Jay Oettinger freezes that one, but this initial shot by Cody Ceci, already had this glove. It pops out, and that's to make a
yeah. Anytime you can improve by, you know, 2 or 3, and you're going in that direction instead of giving up 5 or 6 runs a fucking game, which is brutal, right? To get it, you know, to get it close to, you know, closer to 3 rather than closer to 6. Yeah, a huge improvement. You know, and that's like, you know, the thing with like the Mariner pitchers, it's like we got big names, but if you actually look at the records in the ERA, we started off really hot, right? And then the only bad one or one that was, you know, concerning was Emerson Hancock because Wu was injured. And then we sent him back to AAA, right? And we had good performances after the first 4 losses out of Castillo. He started to heat it up a little bit. He started off 0-4 as our number 1. And then Kirby, you know, Miller, and then Gilbert was our best pitcher. But those last 3 starts for Logan Gilbert have been rough. So right now it's like, I don't trust Castillo. I don't trust Kirby because of the knee. He's hurt. I don't trust Miller. And Logan Gilbert, I probably trust him second, even though the last 3 starts have been a little rough. And the only one I really trust with all my heart right now is Brian Wu. He's looked great in his first 3 starts after being injured for the first part of the year. That guy's been electric. But other than that, it's like, you know, 1 or 2 pitchers out of 5 ain't going to cut it, especially when you can't hit. It's like we got a top 5 pitching staff. We're bottom 10 in hitting, and we have a lot of games where we can't even get to 5 runs or 7 to 10 hits. And, you know, and with all that being said, we're still in first place over the Rangers, which is insane. You know, it's like we can't fucking hit. Julio is like a non-factor. He's almost a liability now. He can't defend. He's having errors in the outfield. He's not running the bag smoothly. He's getting called out on steal attempts. You know, he's making errors and fumbling the bag on grounders in the outfield. Like, I don't know. It's weird to see him struggle. But, and then obviously, you know, Garver hasn't been good. Polanco hasn't been good. JP was injured. But at least, like, Luke Raley has been amazing. You know, Dylan Moore has been amazing. Hollywood Josh Rojas has been amazing. And I don't think that we anticipated that. So, good save there. Pavleski, Duchesne, Marchment, Heiskanen, Harley, Ekholm, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Holloway there for the Oilers. Less than 17 minutes to go in the third period, 2-1 Oilers. Yeah, and again, at the beginning of the year when they decided to put Castillo as the one, I was like, this motherfucker is not the number one. He was good when we traded for, you know, him on the Reds and Julio, Kirby, and Cal's rookie year, but he hasn't been as good since then, and I just don't trust him. He doesn't have the same stuff. He doesn't have the same swagger and confidence. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, Castillo might be our fourth best pitcher. Like, I think, you know, even though Kirby and Miller make me nervous sometimes, I think I have more trust in those guys than Castillo, even though he is kind of hit or miss. But you could say the same thing for Miller and Kirby. They've been like Castillo, Miller, and Kirby are either really, really good or terrible. There's no like in between. And Logan Gilbert is normally good, sometimes excellent, but then he's had a few rough starts as of late. And then Wu has been amazing in his first three starts after the injury and not starting, 2024 because he was on the injured list. But I want to be able to have, pitchers other than Wu and Gilbert that I can trust, and to have big names like Kirby and Miller and Castillo, and I can't trust you. You know, that's rough. But again, if we were scoring 5 runs or more, it wouldn't matter. Like if Castillo, Miller, and Kirby are giving up 4 and we score 5, guess what? We win. It doesn't matter. They fuck up and play bad and give up a couple homers to Judge and Stanton. But if we score 5 runs, it doesn't fucking matter. But that's a problem. The pitching sucks, hitting sucks, you lose. And that's rough. You know, you got to have at least one of those two things be good, not both of them suck. You know what I'm talking about because you've been there, with the Cardinals. You've seen it when the pitching is good, when the pitching is bad. But then if you can't pitch, right, and then the bullpen stinks, and then the closer gets roughed up, and then, the hitting isn't there, it's really hard to win games, when you can't produce on any end, Can't hit, can't pitch, bullpen sucks, can't close. And obviously things are getting better, it sounds like, for your roster, and things are obviously going good for us, but it could be much better. Plus, in the Central, you guys have a tough division. There's going to always be a lot of movement. It's very competitive in your guys' division. Maybe, one of the most competitive divisions in baseball. Lots of movement. And right now, you got the Brewers and the Cubs kind of pulling away a little, but again, you're getting closer. You're only 3 games back, like you said, so from Chicago. Less than 14 minutes to go. Less than 13 minutes to go in the third period. 2-1 Edmonton. Oh, okay. Yeah. But like when Castillo pitched today, I'd say it didn't matter who we had. You play at 9:30 in the morning, Jesus Christ, we could have Randy Johnson out there and we were going to lose. It just, I hope one day, West Coast teams can figure it out, but again, it's like we are terrible. We got to be like one of the worst teams in sports playing in the morning or early afternoon. Like if we go back and look at the records, again, if it's after 5 p.m., 5, 6, 7, we're going to be good. But if it's before 5 p.m., golly, maybe 4 p.m., we can swing it, but if you're before, if it's like, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., we might as well not even show up. I mean, we stink. Maybe I should start betting. Like I said, I don't bet on sports, but again, I start to see like these people, on like my Instagram and Twitter, timeline, making $10 bets and winning like $2,000. Fuck, man, I could really use the money. And if I can make like a small bet that I know that's going to happen, maybe I should start fucking betting, man. I need the money. I obviously I don't have a lot extra to be able to bet, and it's not like I'd be doing a lot of $50, $100 bets, but I could probably swing, $1 to $20, once in a while, if I knew that and I wouldn't do it every day, but it would be really awesome if I could make like a $10 to $20 bet and then win like $1,000. off something that I know is going to happen, like today, getting our ass kicked by the Yankees 5. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. I knew we were going to get fucked up, But I guess coulda, woulda, shoulda. But and I never did it in the past because I'm superstitious that if I bet, then the opposite is going to happen. But good save. But I see so many of these people making small wagers and winning big money off things that are, not like, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. It's like almost common sense, but good save. John in the building. What's good? McDavid with his best shot of the night, but saved by Ottinger. 11:13 left in the third period. 2-1 Oilers.
Lung disease? So, like, other people have it, and it's not.
Sit down and working. Yeah, I agree. Once we got these can of chicken tacos.
But I'll tune into your guys' game tomorrow. I'll see what's going on. And hopefully you guys can get some hits and runs on Imanaga, even though no one's been able to figure him out yet. 5-0 record, 0.84 ERA, leading baseball as a rookie, and then with a 0.91 whip with 53.2 innings pitched. Compared to Mikolas, 3-5 record, 5.77 ERA with a 1.40 whip, and he's pitched the same amount of innings, 53. So Gorman's got 8 home runs. Wynn's got a nice 295 average. Donovan with 23 ribbies. Let me look at the standings. All right, Yankees, Orioles, and we got the Guardians and the Royals. Royals being in second place is surprising. And we got Mariners and Rangers. And then we got Phillies being the best team in baseball. Who would have predicted that? Braves in second place. Milwaukee and then Chicago with the Cardinals in third place. Good for you. And then you got Dodgers and then the Padres starting to creep up as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, and again, we get more people watching on the Twitter/X side, but as far as like the YouTube side, I don't know if a lot of people like hockey as much as, me and Sarah and a few others. There's some of us that, enjoy it and Megan as well, but I don't know, maybe, everyone's got their thing. It's like, I'd rather watch NHL, MLB, and NASCAR rather than anything on the NBA side, and regardless of what the matchup ends up being, it's just, but everyone's got their favorites, on what they like. But for me, it's like NFL, college football, wrestling, that's always going to be at the top. And then obviously with baseball and NASCAR, those will be my top: NFL, college football, wrestling, baseball, NASCAR. And then after that, obviously NHL and then NBA is obviously dead last. I think I would rather smash my head in the wall than watch anything NBA, but
disagreements are going to happen, and that's okay. So try to figure it out and push each other. The team has become very, very good without the puck.
But it's like a niche audience, NBA is a niche audience, even though it's popular, but it's like a lot of people watch a popular, quote unquote, popular product that's not good, but I don't like to waste my time. But I mean, if I want to be entertained, I feel you get more entertainment out of NHL, MLB, and NASCAR than anything that goes on in the NBA. Like NBA is a snooze fest. It's just doesn't do it for me at all. Like it's literally unwatchable to me. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. And I feel a lot of people watch it, but they know the product isn't good, but they still watch it anyways. And I think a lot of times, people don't get into hockey or NASCAR because they don't understand it or they don't know who's in it, and obviously the more that you know, then the more interested you're going to be. But if you don't know the name of the players or the name of the drivers, then you're not going to give a shit. And it's much easier to follow the NBA with the players, than it is with NHL and the rules, as well as NASCAR, unless you have a connection. So But I feel the NHL season has been great. MLB's been great. NASCAR's been incredible. Fucking Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. punching each other. Yeah, it's been fun. Nice pass by Hyman. Dadonov, Tanev, Seguin, Lindell, Robertson, Ekholm, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Bouchard. It doesn't feel like Dallas is going to win this. And again, no Rupee hints, no wins. They're going to need a miracle to come back in this. And shout out to Skinner and Ottinger for playing so well. But Skinner, I don't know if anyone anticipated this. It's like I only feel that Dallas can come back as if they get a power play, even though Edmonton has been great at killing power plays. But I think like that might be the only way that they come back and tie this up 5. Obviously with all the different, matchups that we've had in the first and second period, even though they're great at killing penalties, but 5-on-4 might be the only way they do it. Maybe they have to get it to 5-on-3. That might be the only way they can do it. But I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow. Mariners and Nationals. We need to get back on track. Only won 1 game out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles. Your Cardinals swept them. Thank you. And we won 2 and lost 2 against the Yankees, but that was the goal going in. But hopefully we can win 2 out of 3 against the Nats. Preferably, I hope we sweep them. But if we play down to the competition, we might end up only winning 1, but I hope not. And then we're going to have a very exciting series against the Houston Astros starting Monday. And even though the Astros suck this year, they're going to bring their A game against Seattle. I feel like the Astros, they play their best against the Mariners and the Rangers. So they know what they're going to get themselves into. So definitely looking forward to that. Fuck, if we end up getting swept by the Nats or only win 1, I'm going to be fucking sad as shit. Like, hopefully we can, we want to make sure we're, still in first place. And I don't mind, if the Rangers end up taking first place from us and we end up being the second place team in the wild card, but it kind of feels like we can get it this year. We're good enough if we can figure out the hitting to get first place and the pitching can get slightly better. And then the Rangers can be the wild card team. But either way, as long as the Rangers and Mariners in the playoffs, I'll be happy. So, because you already know the Yankees and Orioles are going to be in the playoffs. The Mariners and the Rangers are going to be in the playoffs. And then it's going to be the Guardians and the Royals, unless the Minnesota Twins can creep up and take the Royals spot, which is possible. All right, here we go. Less than 9 minutes to go. Let's see if the Stars can come back. 2-1 Edmonton. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please do. Help your boy out, John, if you haven't smashed the like button just yet. We're trying to get to at least 15. But we got 30 people watching, but almost all of them are watching on Twitter/X. So we need 4 more people to smash the like button, 3 more to get to at least 15. But it sucks because there's no chat option, right? They can't like the stream from Twitter/X. They can't chat from there. They can't donate from there unless they do it on the Cash App or that route. So I would like to be able to have more, ability to interact with people that are watching on that platform, to cross over. So. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. I mean, I could have took the day off today and just, kept sticking with the Mariners, but I did Kraken games all year. I've watched Vegas. I've watched Colorado. I've watched Dallas. I like watching them play. Connor McDavid is a stud, so it's like, not everyone is going to be a fanatic, in sports. But that's why, we have certain people that are always going to be here, that appreciate wrestling in all forms of sports, not just maybe one thing. So 7:47 left here in the third period. 2-1 Edmonton was still with all the momentum. Tanev, Ben, Lindell, Stankoven, and Johnston. Ekholm, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Bouchard. Edmonton's lineup is much better on the ice right now. And McDavid is hurt on top of that. He's not 100%. So obviously Edmonton stealing this first victory could end up being a deciding factor of winning this series in 6 or 7 games, depending on if Rupee Hintz comes back in game number 2. Hakanpää as well. But Florida is definitely beating New York. I don't see New York winning that series in any fucking scenario. And the Rangers are a good team, but they're not as good as Florida. You know, they don't got Sergei Bobrovsky, and they don't got Kachuk there and company. And honestly, Florida might end up being the team that wins it all this year. It kind of feels like it.
Great play there for Lindell. Yeah, that was a 55-second shift, and he got that breakaway opportunity.
Kachuk. Florida has been close the last couple years. You know, you had Colorado, you had Vegas. Florida has always been kind of in the mix. Maybe this is the year. You know, but to me, like as I look at these 4 teams, and I've followed, you know, the NHL, you know, from the beginning of the season and to where we're at now. You know, again, you got to be able to have great play in net, right? But you also have to have great defense. And again, you might be able to get away with subpar play in net and subpar play on defense in the regular season. But usually the teams that have that amazing net play and they have great defense from their centers, their wingers, and their defensemen, those will end up being the champion at the end of the day. And if I had to look at these 4 teams on the one that I trust the most in net and defensively, I have to go with Florida. And I'm not shitting on New York or in Edmonton or Dallas, but I just think Florida, to me, is the best team left out of the 4 teams. But we'll see if I'm right. You know, at some point, I need to start betting on this ESP that I have and this fucking, you know, gut feelings that I have and these like visions and whatnot. Your boy needs to be rich. I'm sick and tired of everyone else making these $1 bets and then winning like $2,000 when I could have made the same fucking bet and I could be rich. I want to be rich. But I don't even know if there's anything in Oregon that we can bet on, because you know how some states have it legal. Is it legal for you guys to bet in your state with like DraftKings and those other things? I haven't even looked it up on if there's any platforms in Oregon that are legal to bet or not. Through like, you know, some of the major platforms to do your betting on. But I think, you know, for the amount of reading and film and games that I watch, I'm kind of dumb not to bet. You know, I don't have extra money to be making big bets like, you know, $100 bets, you know, and above. You know, hell, I can't even afford a $50 bet, but $20 and less, $1 to $20, I could swing that. Yeah. Less than 6 minutes to go. 2-1 Edmonton. Seguin, Marchment, Robertson, Heiskanen, and Harley. And this is the type of Dallas performance that I was worried about without Rupee Hintz. Because again, you like Jason Robertson, where the hell are you? Pavlevsky, where the hell are you? Like, if you don't have Rupee Hintz to kind of, Rupee Hintz is kind of like the Draymond Green or like the Dennis Rodman, you know, that guy that's kind of the glue. He might not necessarily be the best player to most people, but he's the most valuable player on the team. You know, yeah, you can have Steph Curry, you can have Clay, but again, if you don't have Draymond, if you don't have Dennis Rodman, you're not winning those championships. And I feel like with Rupee, you know, he's that guy. And again, when he's playing, those other guys play well. When he's not in the lineup or injured, they disappear. You can't have one good player out of 5 or 6 step up and think you're going to beat the other team. It just doesn't fucking happen. And I feel that's kind of the MO for Dallas. You know, we already know their choking abilities with the Cowboys, but at least the Mavericks, you know, stole game 1 from Minnesota. But again, Ant has been shooting a terrible shooting percentage in game 7 as well as game 1, you know, against the Nuggets and now against the Mavericks. If Ant can figure out his shooting percentage to be a little bit better, you know, they can win that series. 5 minutes to go in the third period. 2-1 Oilers. Ben, Heiskanen, Harley, Stankoven, and Johnston. Now they made a lineup change. Ben, Tanev, Lindell, Stankoven, Johnston, Holloway, Kane, Ekholm, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. Think about that for a second. Edmonton has one of the best players in the world in Connor McDavid, and they don't even need him to win this series as much as people think. Like, of course, you know, it would be nice for him to be able to be an impact player, but again, it's like more on Skinner and his ability in net, and they have other guys like Hyman and Draisaitl that, you know, they might not be able to rely on those guys every game, but to be able to win without one of the best players in the world, I mean, how many teams could say that? Pretty impressive. And on the road in game 1, just like Florida did. Suter, Pavlevsky, Duchesne, Lindell, Marchment. Where are you, Dallas? Don't be like the Cowboys. But at least for the Stars and the Mavericks, at least you're like advancing. You know what I mean? At least those teams, like, at least if you are a Cowboy fan, you know, or you're a Dallas sports fan, at least you got 2 other things to be excited about. I mean, you can be excited about the Cowboys in the regular season, but we already know what happens in the post. Until Jerry Jones ends up, you know, passing away, or they sell the team, which they never will. You know, it just seems like it's going to be a broken record. You know, same thing every single year. Great in the regular season and then a disappointment in the post. Oh, baby! What a pass! Oh, Tyler! There you go. Wow, that came out of nowhere. That was an insane pass. Wow. And I was about to say they're running out of time, and right before I said it, an amazing pass, wide open to the net. No time for Skinner to slide over with his body. Wow, that was the best, one of the best passes in the playoffs I've seen overall. Incredible. Wow. Well, we already know who the MVP of this game is right now. Tyler Seguin with 2 goals. Unbelievable. Skinner didn't even have time to react there. And where's the defense for Edmonton to sit in front, you know, and block Tyler? Unaware. You know, that was a big, wow. That, at least it makes it more exciting now. I was hoping that we would get this, but I didn't think it was going to happen. But thank God it did. Now we got ourselves a matchup. Wow. Momentum is back with Dallas. All the Cowboy fans now are jumping up and down. But a lot of Cowboy fans don't even give a shit about the Mavericks or the Stars, unless you're a fanatic and you like all 3. But most Cowboy fans are just Cowboy fans, you know. Oh, good save by Ottinger. Nice shot by Kane, but it was just a little too far away. Yeah, Edmonton almost right back. That was an amazing pass. And like I said, how did none of the other Edmonton players recognize where others were on the ice right there? It's like everyone was looking down at the puck, right? And they weren't looking at who was in the net, in the crease. You know, you always have to make sure you know who's in the crease, because it's always that rebound shot, you know, or a person that's wide open that, man, unbelievable pass. So pretty. Well, we have ourselves a game now. Assisted by Dadonov and Robertson. Amazing. Telling you, NHL is so much more exciting than the NBA. Like, what is the NBA, you know, in the East Final and West Final going to do that's going to compare to that? You know, like, what scenario are we going to get? Like that? Are we going to end up having a tie game and then all of a sudden Luka hits a 3 at the buzzer and they win? That would have to be like the equivalent, and I don't think we're going to get that, because, again, it seems like each series is just going to have blowouts. In the NBA playoffs, it's been a lot of blowouts. Like, hell, when Denver was playing Minnesota, some of the games were almost 30, 40, 50-point wins. You're not going to see that in the NHL. You know, you're not going to have like an 8-0 game, you know, or at least it would be, you know, highly unlikely. Unbelievable. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Let's try to get to 15 likes before the stream ends. If you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please do. We got 30 people watching total, most of them on Twitter/X, but we still need a few more to get to 15. I think we need 3 more. So if there's 3 people that could smash that like button for your boy or come over from the Twitter/X side to the YouTube side and then go back, that would be greatly appreciated. Wow. Dadonov. You got to have that spatial awareness in the crease, and things move so fast on the ice. You know, you got to have your head on a swivel. And again, you know, baseball, hitting a baseball might be the hardest thing in sports, or one of the hardest things in sports, you know, but the way that these guys skate, the guys that have the, ability to be able to pass correctly and, you know, to be able to get amazing shots on goal off in very tight spots. It's this amazing thing to see. Less than 2 minutes to go. 2-2 Oilers and Stars knotted up. Let's take a quick look at the stat book. 27 shots on goal for Edmonton, 22 for Dallas, 27 big hits for the Stars, 26 for the Oilers, 6 penalty minutes for Edmonton, only 2 for Dallas. Face-off percentage, 52% to 48%. Advantage, Dallas. What a game. Much better than yesterday's game with Florida winning 3-0 on the road against the Rangers. Thank God we didn't have that happen again. I don't want a snooze fest. Like New York gave up last night. But you could, like I said, you could argue Florida's the best, team left out of the 4 teams. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. The passing, the hitting, the fights, the goal scoring. I mean, what's not to like about the NHL? And again, a lot of people don't like the NHL because they don't know anything about the NHL. They don't know the rules. They don't know the players. But if you're just looking at it from an outsider's perspective, on excitement, doesn't get a whole lot better than not many things get a whole lot better than the NHL playoffs. Hell, even NHL in the regular season is exciting. Less than a minute to go. Will we have overtime? Or is someone going to be a hero? Pavlevsky, Duchesne, Lindell, Marchment, Harley. Where's Rupee Hintz, damn it? Carrick, Cece, Kulak, Brown, and Janmark. No Connor McDavid on the ice. Hasn't really been a factor since he's injured, but he did get an assist on that Zach Hyman goal. They looked flat, uninspired, and let's be honest, Sergei Bobrovsky is the best goalie out of the 4 teams left. Like I said, he is by far the best. And Florida has been so close the last couple of years. Avalanche won, Vegas Golden Knights won last year. Florida's been in the mix, but again, maybe this is the year for them. And Tkachuk is always a monster. We know that. Running out of time. Oh, what a save! End of the third period. 2-2. Oilers and Stars. Wow. Overtime. Well, maybe others, don't give a shit about the NHL or MLB or NASCAR, but I'm here for it, man. Give me those 3 over the NBA any day. Wow. Exciting. This one is a little bit more evenly matched compared to the other series. Even though the Rangers had an amazing record, when I looked at that series before it started, it kind of looked lopsided to me. Like Florida was clearly the better team. They got the better goalie, and I think they just have more chemistry. Even if the Rangers have more wins in the regular season, it's about hot and healthy in the postseason. So. Well, hopefully for the Rangers fans' sake that they have a better effort, because, regular season they had 3 more wins, but they're not acting like they're the better team, and they have home ice. And to have home ice in game 1 with all your fans going crazy, and then to have Sergei Bobrovsky and Tkachuk just to fucking dismantle you. I mean, I don't know what Rangers fans think, but I assume some of the fan base is like, fuck. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to win this, because game 1 is going to be crucial at home, for momentum. And you couldn't even score a goal on Bobrovsky. So it might be Florida. I don't want to say they're going to sweep. I still got to give New York a little bit of love. But again, when you were talking about earlier, Megan, that you think that, maybe Dallas will beat Edmonton, 4-1. Maybe we'll get that in the Florida series. Maybe Florida will beat New York 4-1, something of that nature. But this one isn't over yet. Who knows who's going to win this? Edmonton had that momentum for a long, long time, but obviously since the second period, it's been all Dallas with Tyler. Tyler with a goal in the second period, Tyler with a goal in the third period. But we'll see what happens. But if I'm just thinking about it right now, Florida to me is the best team out of the 4 teams left. And a big reason is because of net play and defense. And again, you might be able to get away with, average or above average play and net and defense in the regular season if you can get some, good assists and good passing and some scoring. But things will get much tighter, in the East and West final, and especially in the Stanley Cup. And I think I like Bobrovsky as by far the best goalie left out of the 4 teams.
Shane, it's been here as long as I can remember, living in glances of people I loved and ones I didn't even know.
Yeah, and you could probably say the Rangers have the worst goalie, package out of the 4 teams that are left. So they were able to get away with it, in the regular season, with their scoring and everything else. But again, if you don't got a consistent net play, you're fucked, especially in the NHL, especially when everything, when all the eyes are on you. So I think I would go with Skinner, Ottinger, and Bobrovsky over anybody they got in net over there. I know they got Quick over there. And then they have a Shesterkin and whatnot. And Shesterkin, obviously, 36 wins, 17 losses. And they got Quick, 18 wins, 6 losses. And Domingue, he doesn't play, right? He's got 1 win. And that's just like limited play and whatnot. But Bobrovsky, though, he's something else. His save percentage is wild. All right, who's winning? What's the prediction? Who's winning here? Oilers going to win on the road, just like Florida did? Or are we going to get Dallas is Tyler going to end up getting a hat trick and being the hero? Or is it going to be Joe or Jason or someone else? That Dadonov pass, woo! That was one of the best passes I've seen all year. At the most crucial point that Dallas needed that goal too, with like less than 3 minutes to go. Fucking believable. All right, who's going to score the goal for the Stars? Tyler with the hat trick, or it will be someone else?
I was so impressed by their entire team, how they played that period. The first 4 checker took the body every time. Second guy was...
Tell him, Wayne.
And they had a third guy high. When you got in the defensive zone, they covered the middle of the ice. I thought it was one of the best periods I've seen him play this year in the playoffs. There's one lucky bounce, and all of a sudden we got a tie hockey game. So they can't change their formula. They got to play the same way in the third.
And how about that save? My Ottinger too. I mean, that save was massive and Holloway.
Immediately following the goal.
Amazing. It hasn't been an easy game. The size I mean, it hasn't been an easy game for him. He gave up 2 goals in the first.
Yeah, my new Ducks raincoat is a collab with Columbia. I love it. You know, it's really good quality, not too thick, not too thin. You know, not like a thick rain jacket. You know, but a little bit, you know, like kind of windbreaker. But it's like it's just perfect. You know, obviously living here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, you're going to need that. You know, especially when I go on long walks, 3 of them a day with Paisley. So I've never had any Columbia shoes though.
Sometimes you're so worried about shooting puck instead of just flipping it over the pad. But yeah, to your point, to have a long leg like that, it helps.
All right, I'm going to go get a drink here real quick, check up on Paisley, and I'll be back here in just a second.
But it helps. It helps.
Before the game, the ice.
We're going to overtime. 2-2 Oilers and Stars. Give me about a minute or two.
The ice is not good right now. You know, it's going to be a different set of circumstances when they go to Edmonton. That ice is the best in the league.
When you get to overtime, listen, things change, things tighten up. But just the way they played that third period, can Edmonton be in the locker room right now and say, listen, this goal happened. But that was a third period that we should go back on and say, this is how we want to play this game?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a better question for him. But as far as how they played that period, we were building a pack in the back and just clips of how they were angling properly. They were basically forcing Dallas to dump the puck in, and they were bringing it right back out, going back the other way, and actually extending ozone shifts as well. I think they limited them to, 7 shots on goal?
7 shots,
a lot of them weren't dangerous. They were disciplined, didn't take a minor. So, yeah, as far as how to close out a game for the Edmonton Oilers, that is the prototypical way to do it. It just so happens, like you mentioned, but that Dadonov tip pass, like this is a guy who I think coming into playoffs was listed on the 5th line. Obviously, he was inserted. I think he started out on the 4th line, but he's made a factor. And going back to this video here, this is the first clip. This is just going back to Nugent Hopkins and how responsible he is. That could have been a turnover that goes back the other way, but he stops up and he punts it in north. And this is just another angling tip. Watch by the time this clip ends up ending up. You have 5 Edmonton guys inside the screen there and only 3 Dallas players. And then boom, they're right back the other way. And that's basically what it looked like the entire period. Yes, that doesn't look that sexy, and it's hard to sell that maybe sometimes for the American audience, but that is how you close out a hockey game. That's how you play well defensively on a 200-foot game. So I know we jumped from a few topics there, but that was the video we were talking about.
Well, what do you do now in overtime? Because that may have been how you want to close out a third period, Gretz, but both of these teams, now it's overtime. I guess I'm also curious, like, how long does momentum last? Like, Dallas had that. I mean, it almost went right away with Holloway, but that place was just erupting. And now you're in the locker room. It's calmed down.
It's emotionally, it's a roller coaster, right? They had such a good period, and all of a sudden they look up and it's a 2-2 hockey game. But you got to remember, you got to respect the opponent. You're playing against the best team in the Western Conference over 82 games. You see your captain going down to block shots. So everybody's into it. They just got to stay the course here. You got to get pucks in that. It's going to be one sort of fluky goal. Usually it wins it in overtime. And you just got to believe that they played well enough to win game 1.
You mentioned the captain blocking shots. I want to keep an eye on number 97. We were talking off camera about that. He had a breakaway chance. Lindell catches him. It wasn't Merrill Haskinen. It was Lindell catching him behind. Like, how many times does it happen to Connor McDavid? It doesn't really happen very often. I haven't seen it very often. No, not at all. So,
but you know, he's playing a hard game. He's playing a heavy game. He's taking the body. He's getting hit. Just maybe he wore down by the end of the hockey game. It was late in the game. Maybe he's just.
It was the end of a shift as well.
And blocking shots too.
But listen, he's playing his heart out, and both teams are. I thought it was really good hockey, physical hockey. Goaltending was pretty good at both ends. This has been a good hockey game.
But it's something to keep an eye on because we're used to seeing him. If someone approaches him like they're going to catch him, he hits that ludicrous speed button and he just takes off. And that just didn't happen in that situation. Meanwhile, Tyler Seguin's got both goals for Dallas. He spoke to Jackie just a few moments ago.
Not 1, but 2, and you're headed to overtime. I'd call it the TNT bump, but I think that's giving the guys in studio too much credit. How were you guys able to fight back in this game?
Yeah, just sticking with it. We played a pretty good game so far. They're a good team. Sometimes you feel each other out, but it's been a heck of a game so far.
It certainly has. You guys have been blocking shots, and Jake Ottinger has kept you guys in this game with some massive saves once again.
Yeah, we just need a couple more, and hopefully we'll get the next one.
Key to getting one before they do.
Shoot first.
Okay, thanks, Tyler.
Straightforward advice. You wear your helmet that tight where you have Mark.
No, I would wear everything loose because I'd have to be comfy on the bench. Wouldn't play me in the third. I didn't have any trust in me. You dumped it in. I would have loved to wear one of yours. I would have loved to wear one of those light ones.
The one I wore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't advise anybody to wear it.
Not much protection there.
There was no protection. I might as well not worn anything.
You were saying before we got going today, the old skates you used to wear, they used to hurt your feet a little bit.
Oh my gosh, they were the worst. They were the old leather skates, right? And when they would get wet, they would get so heavy. And then the trainers would try to drive
6'4". Wow.
Never getting the same, right? So you go through about 3 periods a year.
Got a few more minutes here, and we're going to be going into overtime.
Throughout the course of a game where you switch them out.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I used to get a second pair and I'd send them my buddy in Columbus. He went to Ohio State.
Paisley's like, overtime.
And send them back.
Just a good to wear a bit.
Glad Dallas fought back.
Skates every year, and my skates got broken in.
That's a nice story in the office too. What do you do? I'm breaking waist skate. That's what I do.
What do you do? But the funny thing was, I could wear a new pair of gloves every game. I'd go through about 50 pairs of gloves a year. I love to feel the new palms.
I think that'd be great. You take your dad to work, to a school day. He comes in, they ask you what you do.
Yeah.
You tell that story about breaking the skates.
Can you send some of your pads to break in your pads?
No, I like to do that myself.
Bandit's going to be 2. Nice. Yeah, Paisley will be 3 in August. So it's crazy. Time flies.
3 new pairs of skates every year. Yeah. Did that get bigger as your career progressed?
Oh, it's 3 every year.
What about pads for you?
It changed over the years, depending if it was Olympic year or whatever. We have outdoor games, but I would say four sets of pads.
And the goalie pads changed when you played. So you got lighter pads.
I'll take a look at what's going on score-wise while we get ready for overtime.
When you go up to the rink throughout your career, you start looking at the old stuff that's there and sort of
Halliburton with the left hamstring. They're done.
Just the fact that the goalies use curved sticks now. I mean, that was unheard of in the 80s.
And they go with the boys going out.
Yeah, just 2 minutes to overtime.
Yeah.
Incidentally.
They look fresh. Edmonton looks fresh.
I think congrats. They've been a good
We'll get to
second period team.
We'll get to who's picking.
They've been a good second period team, the Oilers. So obviously having the long change here, maybe it is an advantage for them.
Well, we'll see right now. Let's take a look. DraftKings Sportsbook odds to score the game winner.
Who's going to hit the game winner? Johnston, Hyman, Draisaitl, huh?
It's gold plus 850. It's not too late. You download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code SKATEVIEW. Customers can get a bonus bet of up to $1,500 if your first bet does not hit. Greg, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go with a gritty player, the guy we talked about before the game. He's going to score a nice goal in front of another Vander Kane.
Ooh, all right. I'm going to say Darnell Nurse for the Edmonton Oilers. Wild card.
I'm picking up a Jack. He's putting down a little TNT bump.
Are you going hat trick?
Hat trick, huh?
Sure, that's a good one.
Draisaitl.
All right, countdown to overtime.
I'm taking Zach Hyman.
That's a good call.
More goals than anyone else.
66 goals.
Hyman.
Yeah.
54 and 12. That's a good thing.
I'm trying to reinvent anything. Really easy. All right, let's go to Eddie. Heads up. Who's Jackie with the call?
Here we go. This one could go either way. Edmonton started off strong. Dallas got really, really hot late. Saw one of the best passes I've ever seen. Kimberly in the building. What's good? I'm not necessarily per se a Dallas Stars fan. I'm more of a Kraken fan actually, but I do love the NHL and I like watching Dallas, Vegas, Colorado, and obviously I'm a fan of NHL playoff hockey. All right, here we go. Overtime. Oh, Duchesne down on the faceoff. Hopefully he's okay. So we got Pavleski, Tanev, Lindell, Marchment, and Johnston. Ekholm, Hyman, Nugent, Hopkins, McDavid, and Bouchard. So Oilers got a better lineup as far as the five that they have on the ice. Yeah, Kraken, Mariners. You know, obviously, got to represent the Pacific Northwest. What is it? What's going on here? Is it double minor? Wow, this is interesting. You got all four refs at center ice with a discussion here. Duchesne, Connor McDavid, everyone looks a little confused. Duchesne to the locker room. High sticking review. Connor McDavid is like, what? Let me see. Damn, McDavid hit fucking Duchesne in the mouth. He's bleeding. Oh, shit. Wow. That happened so fast, I didn't even see it. Wow. High sticking for Connor McDavid. Double minor against Matt Duchesne. Wow. But it's like, it's not like Connor McDavid, is 100%. He hasn't really been that much of a factor, in this particular matchup. Obviously, did assist on the Zach Hyman goal in the second period at 4:17. But this is huge. If Dallas can have their best lineup again, if Rupee Hintz was playing, I would say this is over. You got Pavleski, Ben, Robertson, Heiskanen, Johnston. Normally, Rupee Hintz would be in there also, right? It would have been Pavleski, Ben, Robertson, Heiskanen, and then Rupee Hintz. But now you got Johnston. So let's see if Dallas with their power play lineup, even though that the Oilers are great at killing power plays, we'll see if this is going to be a key moment in this matchup. What a save by Skinner. LG, that pass, and then that goal by Tyler with less than 3 minutes to go. That pass was one of the best passes I've seen in a long time. And in the crucial moment, where, again, Edmonton started off strong, and it didn't look like Dallas was going to be able to get it done, and they kept fighting. Yeah, no teeth came out, but his mouth was bleeding pretty bad. Let's see here. Less than 20 minutes to go. Johnston. Heiskanen. Oh, off the post. Oh, my God. Everyone's on the ground. Wow. Off the post. That was so close. Unbelievable. Robertson. How did it get to the right side? How did that slide past everybody and go to the right side right there? Unbelievable. I mean, we're talking inches where Robertson gets the game-winning goal right there. Inches. Unbelievable. Now the crowd's into it, waving the towels. Like I said, Pavleski, Ben, Robertson, Heiskanen, and Johnston. 2 in a row. Another one off the... Oh. Passing will be crucial here, too, for Dallas. It has to be crisp. Good save by Skinner. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, if they would have had someone, yeah, too much traffic there. Man, that one hit the post as well. Robertson, he's locked in. I almost feel like if you're going to end up getting the game-winning goal, going top shelf would be money. A lot of the shots have been kind of low, and going top shelf might surprise Ottinger or Skinner. Unbelievable. What a great game. Much better than yesterday's Florida 3-0 win on the road against the Rangers in New York. This one is living up to the billing. If I didn't think this series was going to be good, or if I, didn't care, of course I wouldn't be streaming this. So Dadonov, Seguin, Marchment, Heiskanen, Stankoven. Dallas very aggressive here. Another 250. I mean, if you can't win with this long-ass power play, you're not going to win this game. You have to win it here. And the guys that they have on the ice for the Oilers are not their best four. Less than 18 minutes to go. Still in the power play. Dadonov, Seguin, Marchment, Heiskanen, Stankoven. Oh, nice save by Skinner.
Back on the ice for the Dallas Stars. Pavelski, Ken, Robertson, Johnston, and Harley. Oilers send out Nugent Hopkins with McLeod.
I'll say it once and I say it again. If Rupee Hintz was playing today, Dallas wins the game. Especially him being in the lineup during the power play advantage. He is so money at scoring and assisting in power play moments. I hope he comes back for game 2 for the Stars fans, for LG and company. Nugent Hopkins and Pavelski. Let's go. Icing? Nope. First 2 minutes. So far, so good. And Edmonton's great at killing on the power play. Pavelski, Ben, Robertson, Harley, Johnston. Edmonton, golly.
Send out a new 4. There's Harley around Brown. Brown got a stick on it, then lost the stick. Robert.
27 shots on goal for the Stars, 31 for the Oilers. They're dead even in hits, 27. And 10 penalty minutes for Edmonton. Only 2 for Dallas. Dallas has been playing with some good discipline. Ooh, just wide left. Power play is running out. Come on, Dallas. If you're going to win it, you got to win it here. And Edmonton is just trying to kill it. God, being a goalie in the NHL has got to be the most nerve-wracking thing in sports. Oh, yeah. Mavs stole game 1. But again, Anthony Edwards had a shooting percentage, Luka and Kyrie. And again, just because Minnesota beat the Nuggets, everyone just thought, oh, Minnesota's going to go to the finals and win it all. But again, it's all about like recency bias. Everyone gets overly excited about one win, and it's a series. So. But Minnesota could still come back and win that series over the Mavericks. But it was a pretty surprising game 1 win. I don't know how many people picked the Mavericks to win that game, based off, T-Wolves and Ant and company, beating the Nuggets with the Joker. It's like if you beat the Joker, you're going to get a lot of bandwagon fans on that Ant bandwagon and whatnot. But I mean, Luka and Kyrie are pretty phenomenal too. Those are two Hall of Fame players. I mean, Luka's like first team All NBA 5 of his first 6 seasons. You go back and look at some of these other great players, you know, like Dirk and a few others, you know, they only had like 4 in like over 10 years of play. Luka's done it 5 out of 6. Like when it's all said and done, Luka is going to be very, very high up there in the rankings for the current players in the NBA. 16:41 left in OT. Heiskanen. Robertson, very aggressive in this overtime, but just hitting the post twice. Everyone's standing here in the crowd for Dallas. Man, this power play is lasting forever.
Robertson, knock out for Heiskanen. 35 seconds remaining on the penalty. Here's Johnston down low. Back out from Ben. Now
Heiskanen. Oh, I want to see Robertson shoot from the right side instead of keep shooting from the left. Like, let's go to the opposite side and work that other side, that other angle. 5 shots, hit the post twice. Give me Robertson on that other side. You gotta think outside the box instead of shooting consistently from that left side. Let's go over to the other side. Let's see what his lateral movement is for Skinner, you know, going from right to left, from left to right for defense. Now we're even. God, what a great job by Edmonton with that penalty kill again. I mean, how many teams in overtime could have that kind of advantage for that amount of time and still be able to hang on? Not many. Less than 15 minutes to go in OT. We're knotted up at 2. Who will take game 1? Florida ended up beating New York 3-0 last night. Ooh. Decent pass there, but just too much traffic and it got poked away. Suter with the poke. Hyman with the shot. Nice save. Ottinger. Yeah, you got Hyman, you got Kulak, Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard. This is the best lineup for Oilers, for Edmonton, all game. Like I said, if you have those 5 on the ice together, there's a good possibility. And they just made a line change, though. They went Kane, CC, Nurse, Draisaitl, Holloway. But that previous 5, that would be the 5 that would win it, in my opinion. You know, you got to be able to have 4 or 5. 4 out of the 5 being goal scorers gives you the best chance. Oh, good save. Oh! Man, this is getting tense. When I was walking Paisley this morning, something told me that Edmonton was going to win the first game on the road, but I don't know if that's true. But something like my gut. But obviously for LG, that wouldn't be good for him. But again, the momentum has been in all Dallas's favor since 6-11 in the second period and into overtime. So, but I didn't realize that McDavid's injuries was so significant. I thought he'd be a little bit healthier at this point, but not really the same type of impact player that we've seen in the regular season from McDavid as being one of the best in the world. Still can make an impact, but an injured McDavid is not the same as a healthy McDavid, as everyone knows. Because it's not about just the goal scoring, it's about the passing and just being out there as a leader. Skinner with a save. But at this point, I mean, I could see it going either way. I don't really know. You know, a lot of times you have like a gut feeling, oh, this team's going to win, or this team. This one is so dead even, and this series I feel is so even that I don't know if you're really going to be able to predict who's going to win each game just based on how even these teams are. And normally I never say things like that. You know, I already know Florida is much better than New York, and I can kind of feel the momentum in that one. But this one is very, very even in my opinion.
Next face-off, McDavid and Pick.
This is fucking nail biter.
Back to pick it up. Hyman and Liddell come together. Puck sent back around by Nugent Hopkins. Now Stankill went over for the Stars. Bouchard back up the right side.
13:20 left in overtime. Knotted up at 2. Ben, Tanev, Lindell, Stankoven, and Johnston. Ekholm, Hyman, Nugent, Hopkins, McDavid, Bouchard. This is a decent lineup here for Edmonton. It's their goal-scoring lineup. Especially when you have McDavid, Hyman, and Bouchard on the ice together.
Dropping it for Bouchard. Bouchard, around Pavelski. Puts the puck for Carrick. Carrick towards the net.
Oh, getting chippy.
Something to keep an eye on here moving forward. Once you get to the first whistle past the 10-minute mark of overtime, there's a mandatory.
Oh, yeah. This game. All right, Hyman, Carrick, Janmark, Nurse, Bouchard. Now a line change. Carrick, Brown, Janmark, Nurse, Descharnay, and then Suter, Smith, Petrovic, Faxa, Marchment. Both teams don't have their best 5 on the ice right now, so we'll see who will be the unsung hero here. Two on two. One thing that really impresses me about Edmonton is their defense. You know, again, Skinner and Ottinger are going to, play good at, some point, and other times they're going to give up goals. But just overall, Edmonton's defense, their penalty kill ability, and just their confidence. But I guess when you go to, Vancouver and you go in that series and win in 7, even if you might be the underdog in this series, they're not playing like it. They're playing like they're the favorite, like Florida over New York. And whoever plays better defense and good play in net, that's the team that's going to end up winning. Dadonov, Seguin, Robertson, Heiskanen, Harley, Cece, Kulak, Ryan, McLeod. Oh! If that was a player was in a better position there, that would have been game over. Keeping your balance on skates while you're moving at a fast pace. I mean, these guys are just so fucking athletic. To be able to maneuver your body and keep yourself, upright and not fall down, and having to contort your body in weird positions. Amazing athletes, these NHL players. 11-11 left in OT. This game is giving me the bubble guts, and I'm not even a fucking Oilers fan or a Stars fan. Like, this shit is making me, nervous as shit right now. You don't get this feeling in the NBA. Maybe you did in the 80s and 90s with, maybe with, the Celtics and Lakers with Bird and Magic, but not with any of the teams that are playing right now. Stars fans need to be loud and start cheering. Ekholm, Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard. This is a great lineup. Oh, Ottinger with a save. Jamie Benn, Tanev, Heiskanen, Stankoven, Johnston. And again, the Stars lineup is not each time when they have their 5 on the ice, they only have one guy or 2 out of the 5 that can score. They need to have a better lineup where they have at least 3 out of 5. Get Tyler on the ice with Jamie and Joe and with Jason. I mean, do you want to win this or not? Rupee. Where is Rupee? Holloway, Nurse, Nugent Hopkins, Kane. Less than 10 minutes to go in overtime. God, this is a nail biter. Nothing like the NHL playoffs. Heiskanen and Corey Perry. Oh, gosh. For me, it would probably be I'll go 2-2. I'll go Hyman and Draisaitl for Edmonton, and then I'll go Jason Robertson and Seguin for Dallas. I'll go 2-2. That's where I would go. Just based on Robertson's aggressiveness if he gets on the ice, and then obviously Tyler going for the hat trick, and then I'll go Draisaitl and Hyman. Not saying that Connor McDavid can't do it, but now if McDavid was 100%, then I would say McDavid, but he's not, so. But it could end up being like a rando that ends up winning it. You know, that's very possible. It could be a rando guy on each team as well. Judah in the building. What's good?
Both teams make changes. Here's Ekholm. Edmonton is iced it.
Icing. Golly, this game. How are you doing, Judah? I saw your photos of your cats. I liked it. You got like a cat sanctuary at your house. How are you doing, Judah? Yeah, well, you're gonna make the NBA Finals. There's no doubt about that. The Pacers probably are like the worst team out of the four in like the last 20 years in NBA history. So it's been an easy run for you up to this point, but then it'll get a little bit tougher against the Mavericks or the T-Wolves. I'm not sure who Boston would like to play out of those two teams more. If they have a better chance against Minnesota or a better chance maybe against Dallas. It kind of just depends on how good Luka and Kyrie are and Ant and company, but you're making the finals. The big question is, are you winning it all? Yeah, just like Paisley's like my child. Paisley is my data. I am the dog Faja. Oh, man. This shit is giving me the bubble guts. Also, I haven't ate anything in a long fucking time, so my stomach is empty, so I'm like more nervous right now, too. It's like my stomach is empty. This game is making me nervous, and it looked like Edmonton was going to pull away early when they were up 2-0, and Seguin with 2 goals in the second and third period, and one late with less than 3 minutes left in the third period. One of the best passes I've seen all year, and the execution, for Dallas at that time. Top ice time, Matthias Ekholm. 27-27. Heiskanen, 28-46. Oh, my God.
2 on the first 6. He has stopped the last 29 shots he has faced tonight. Draisaitl and Hyman with all these goals.
But this won't be the only NHL East and West final game that I'll do. I will do some of the series for both, and I will do some of the games for the Stanley Cup. It just kind of depends with the Mariners' schedule and what. But, I get excited watching the Mariners, but, NHL playoff hockey, even if the Kraken aren't in it, it doesn't matter. NHL hockey is NHL hockey. You got plenty of stars on both teams here and in the other series as well to make it exciting. Let's take a quick look at the stats while we have time. 35 shots on goal for the Oilers, 32 for Dallas. 30 big hits for the Edmonton Oilers, 27 for the Stars. 10 penalty minutes for Edmonton, but it hasn't hurt them. And 2 penalty minutes for Dallas. Ben, Tanev, Lindell, Stankoven, Johnston, Ekholm, Hyman, Kulak, Janmark, McDavid. for Edmonton. Oh, good save. Yeah, almost midnight for you. I know, man. 3 hours. I mean, I used to do baseball streams and it would be 3, 3.5, 4, sometimes like 5. But once they made the rule changes, it's usually about 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then usually we'll stay on for another 5 or 10. And then usually the stream will end around 2 hours and 40 minutes, sometimes 3 hours, if we go a little bit longer. But yeah, this has been one of the longer streams in a minute. Yeah. Too bad the Cowboys can't, be like the Stars and the Mavericks. But at least if you're a Dallas sports fan, you have something you can get excited about that's not in the regular season like the Cowboys. It's a bunch of misery in the postseason if you're a Cowboy fan, but at least the Mavericks overachieved and the Stars have been good the last few years. But again, no Stanley Cup since the no Stanley Cup championship, since the late 90s with Mike Modano. So they're ready, they're thirsty. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We just need a couple more to get to 15. So if you're in the room watching or if you're on the Twitter/X side, come over to the YouTube side and do your boy a solid. We only need 2 more people to do it. 7 more to get to 20, but that's not going to happen. But we can get to at least 15. That's not asking too much. So if you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please fucking do. And if you're so inclined, throw your boy a dono. Suter, Pavleski, Duchesne, Petrovic, Marchment, Ottinger in net. Carrick, Janmark, Nurse, Ryan, and Descharnay. Skinner in net. This one's been a hell of a matchup. Yeah, Jerry ain't going to make it work. Come on, bro. Jerry's one of the worst owners in sports. He just cares about making money. And I'm sorry to say, you guys keep doing the same thing every year and you expect different results and you're not going to get them. It's just Jerry needs to go. Dak needs to go, and again, if you guys keep repeating the same shit over and over and over, expecting that you're going to end up winning a Super Bowl, it's not going to happen. Not with the quality of teams in the NFC, and even if, you were able to get to the NFC championship game, who's to say that the team is good enough to win? You're a great regular season team, but again, there's a reason why the Cowboys haven't won a championship since 1995. Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Dion, and Emmett are not walking in the door ever again. And those are the type of players that you would need to win a championship, and you guys just don't have them. It's a harsh reality, but it's true. Yeah, well, I was going to end up doing like the card background, but I figured I would switch it up and I would just do like a scoreboard background and do something a little bit different. So, yeah, I mean, they wanted to make it more of like going to a concert, and the thing is like once the Cowboys decide not to be able to have fans have access to practices, you know what I mean, where they're trying to make it a show, like practices should be closed, for the players, and they shouldn't make it like a concert. And unfortunately, the Cowboys are making it like a concert on every single thing that they do, and you're never going to win a championship like that. It's always about money, not about wins. Even if in the media they say, oh, we care about winning a championship. Bullshit, you don't. Again, and if Jerry really cared about winning championships, he would be not in the media as much. Jerry Jones shouldn't be the most important thing to the Dallas Cowboys. And then, Dak not even really being the face of the franchise. It's like you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak, you got Micah Parsons, but every single year, what is it about? Jerry, and Jerry's world. That's the fucking problem. And Jerry doesn't realize that Jerry's the problem. And that's a fucking problem, Like if they could end up having a Jimmy Johnson type of coach and Jerry was no longer to be seen, as the owner, he doesn't, he has an ego bigger than anybody. If we never saw Jerry Jones again, right? Maybe the Cowboys would make an NFC championship game and hire the right people. But as long as he wants to be the face of the Dallas Cowboys, that's the fucking problem. Doesn't take a fucking expert to realize that. It's like no one cares about your old wrinkly ass, Jerry. You know, you guys keep fucking losing. And I know for Cowboy fans, it's fucking hell. You know, all they want to do is just win a couple playoff games and get to a goddamn NFC championship game. And then, you know, eventually, you know, get to a Super Bowl. But if you can't get to an NFC championship game, how the hell are you going to get to a Super Bowl? Oh my God. How did Ottinger save that? That should have been game over by Connor McDavid. Unbelievable. And even when Jerry passes, Steven's taking over 100%. Yep. And it's more of the same. I 100% agree with you. Yep. McDavid can't believe that. I can't believe they saved that right there. Ottinger with one of the saves of the year.
Never gave up on that play either. But this is all Jake Ottinger.
And if he would have went top shelf, the game is over, but he went low. And you don't go low on Ottinger. You go top shelf on Ottinger. You go top shelf on Skinner. Amazing save.
Dead to right. I mean, the only hope you have is the stick. And you can see Ottinger tries to go stick on puck best you can. Unbelievable. And
So LG, are most Dallas fans, so they're Maverick fans, right? Right? They're Stars fans, they're Cowboys fans, right? And then what about the other? And then are most fans like Astro fans as well? Is that how it goes? That most if you're following 4 teams and one in each major sport, right? What about baseball? Or is it more Texas Rangers? Is it more Texas Ranger fans or more because obviously Houston has their own thing, you know, with the Rockets and, you know, the Texans and whatnot. I get that. But again, you know, or is it more Texas Rangers or is there some Houston Astro fans that sprinkle in, you know, for the Dallas fandom? So probably like 80% Rangers, 20% Astros.
Now Shooter flips it right back. Early in overtime, McDavid double-liner for high sticking. Oilers kill it off.
High sticking for Connor McDavid didn't even matter. Kane, Ekholm, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Holloway, Pavlevsky, Duchesne, Tanev, Lindell, Marchment for Dallas.
Now Shooter. 4 minutes remaining in overtime. Here's Desharnais and now Fogle. Fogle in with a shot, stick to side. By Ottinger. Puck comes out in front and is covered in the crease by the Stars goaltender.
Ottinger with the save. Wow, unbelievable. 36 save attempts for Ottinger, 34 for Skinner, 32 total saves for Skinner, 34 for Ottinger. Man, these guys have been putting in work.
And timing for the offensive zone face-off up against Ben.
Yeah, I can always move my screen to the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. But like when I ended up doing like the NFL draft, I made the box, you know, I can make it smaller and whatnot, but I didn't want it any bigger than this, but I could always make it smaller and I can move my screen wherever. I can have it on the left side, the right side, but I mean, if people want me on the right side instead, I could always put it over there, but are we going to have to go to a shootout or are we going to get a hero in this overtime? Man, I am so hungry for dinner. My stomach is empty. So then it's like making this stomach pain that I have even more like intense because this game is intense. It's like, even though I'm not an Edmonton or Dallas fan, it's like making me feel like I am based off this intensity. That's fucking NHL playoff hockey for you.
They're getting into that 35-second range. Boy, oh boy, if you try to take one more chance, all of a sudden you end up in your own zone. Should have one of those minute shifts.
Oh, no shootouts in OT?
Stars control the draw. Lindell, now Robertson. Stars stay outside. Kazanov flips in deep for Sagan. Dropping it back off for Robertson. Moves behind the net. Throws in front.
Oh,
Piece of it and it covers up.
I'm actually kind of surprised that these guys haven't got too chippy towards each other. I would have assumed that we would have gotten a couple people punching each other in the jaw, at least, at least one-on-one, at least two guys, but we haven't seen it escalate to that point yet. The Stars, yeah. Mavs have already won. Rangers won Rangers already won the World Series. Obviously, with the Cowboys, they're not going to do it. So you got to think that this is probably the team that's got the best shot out of all the teams to get it done. Not saying the Mavericks can't win it all. It just depends if Luka and Kyrie can bring it together. But I mean, they still got to figure out if they can get past the T-Wolves in a 7-game series. And then if they do, and it's Mavericks and Boston, right? There's no guarantee that the Mavericks win it all. Boston, I'm not really sure who would be favored. Boston would probably be favored if it was against the Mavericks. But if it was against the T-Wolves, I don't know. Maybe Boston would be favored in both series, but it wouldn't be by much. Regular intermission between each OT. Okay. I feel like I've been streaming for like 5 hours. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Your boy is hungry. Your boy is tired. I still got to take Paisley for a long walk. I haven't ate dinner yet. Hungry dog. Tired dog. Smash the like button for your boy dog. Two minutes left in overtime. 2-2, Oilers and Stars. Fans screaming offsides. Suter, Smith, Petrovic, Faxa, Steele, Carrick, Brown, Janmark, Nurse, Deschamps. Less than 2 minutes to go in OT. Who's going to be the hero? Well, Stars fans are getting their money's worth here tonight, as well as the Oiler fans. Ooh, big hit. Connor Brown with that nice hustle to prevent the icing. Regular season OT is 5 minutes and 3-on-3. Then shootout. Playoffs, it's just like another period. Continuous overtime, 5. Okay. That's what I was wondering. Thank you for that clarification. What do you think about that rule? Do you like that way, John? Do you like it the way that they position it, just making it another 20-minute overtime? Or do you think that they should do it like they do in the regular season? What do you think? Suter, Smith, Petrovic, Faxa, Steele, Ekholm, Brown, Janmark, McDavid, Bouchard. 57 seconds left with an icing. God, my stomach is empty. I haven't ate anything since like noon. How long is this game going to go? Are we going to go like 4 hours? My God.
Alexander Petrovic has been out here for almost a minute 17 so far on the back end. Oilers control.
Oh, that's a terrible rule.
Ekholm maintains control. Tied up by Smith. Now Hyman comes in. Shooter as well. Battle for the puck continues. Dallas forwards have been on for a minute and a half. Petrovic as well. And now Faxa There's the touchdown. Here comes Drysdale with McDavid on his left.
3-on-3. Oh, Andre got a stick in there.
Unable to get the shot through.
1-on-2. End of overtime. 2-2 Oilers and Stars. Oh, golly. Wow. Yeah, I don't like the ghost runner and extras either. I don't like it. Just putting a freebie on second. It's bullshit.
Stars had a 4-minute power play early, and then McDavid with the best chance in overtime.
Brutal, bro. And then, okay, so, and then what happens here? What happens if we go a second overtime, right? And then you go all 20 minutes, and then what happens? Then it just goes to a third overtime for another 20 minutes? Is that what happens? Like, what happens if we go another 20 minutes and the score is still 2-2? Then they do it again? So we're playing like 2 full games, and I'm just sitting here as my stomach eats itself? Is that what we're doing? I mean, I don't end a stream early, especially when it's like this. Oh my gosh. It's already midnight. Judah, it's midnight for Judah. Yeah. So what happens again? What happens if we go another 20 minutes and then there's no winner? It's still 2-2. Then what? And then it goes again. So it just keeps going 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes until like I grow old and I'm like 50 years old. And I'm just like all wrinkly and withered with no food in my stomach. Is that what's going on? I'm going to turn into a middle-aged man into a grandpa until this fucking game is over.
Bookstores. I read that one. I read that one. I read that. I didn't read that one. Didn't read that.
All right, I'm going to go check up on Paisley here real quick. 5, 6, 7 OTs. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
Did you know whales and barnacles have a parasitic relationship?
All right, then we got to check up on my pup.
Let's go, barnacle.
Yeah, I need to grab a snack.
Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card. Assignments are going off. The tornado hit. You cannot outswim this. You cannot outrun it.
It really is a terrifying experience.
It is the stuff of nightmares.
You can hear it and feel it.
My eyes and my throat were burning. I'm going to die, and I thought that was it.
On Earth with Lee F. Schreiber premieres June 2nd at 9 on CNN.
Was stuck in an infinite time loop. Or, in theory, infinity. I think I'm ready. We're going to build a time machine. We go back to the past, undo the loop, save the world.
We're all gonna die, aren't we? Probably.
Try again next time.
The Lazarus Project. New season, June 9th on TNT.
The greatest player in the world had the game on his stick. Oilers fans about to go crazy back in the Moss Pit in Edmonton, and then Chris Cat, Jake Ottinger smother the chance, and we are headed to double overtime. This will be Edmonton's first multi-overtime game since 2021.
Love the sound effects. Great job, William.
I've been working on it. I've been in the hotel for like a month and a half doing the mix with that. So glad that paid off. Welcome, everybody. It's the second overtime intermission report. It is still 2-2. Liam, Biz, Ace, Hank, Gretz, McDavid in that moment right there. I mean, pretty rare that we see a situation like that with him, and it is not instantly and automatically in the back of the net.
Yeah, that was a surprise. First of all, the goalie played him perfectly. It was a great save, great reflexes, but Connor usually doesn't miss those chances. That was very rare. I'm surprised that puck was not in the net.
But the funny part there is when you have a glove as a goalie, you attack a player like that. So many times glove or a stick, the guy with the puck wants to beat it above it. Even if I keep it here, there's room on the ice, but what the players see and what the puck sees is very different, right? So if you're from the puck's perspective, yeah, there's room on the ice, but what they see, I gotta go above it. So you can see McDavid, he hesitates when Ottinger has a stick up in the air. He's waiting for him to drop it, and then as he drops it, he shoots it, but then it just misfires the shot. But can think of so many opportunities where guys have an entire net to shoot at, and you just reach out with your glove like that, and still they try to go above it instead of just going underneath. It's just what the player sees versus what the puck sees in that moment.
Why is that? Or would you just slide it in under? I think you're the exception.
They didn't have curves on the stick. I couldn't raise it. We didn't have curves. I just shoot it on the ice.
But here's what you're talking about. Where there's an opening, he's on the ice, right?
Right there, right now,
When he
right
keeps
on
it
the
up
ice.
here, he waits for it. Now it's up right here. There's a lot of room to go in that. He waits for it to drop the stick. That's when he shoots it. But then he gets help from the defenseman as well. But the first couple seconds there, first second at least, it's right there for him. But because the stick is up there, I think he just hesitated a little bit for it to drop.
In slow-mo, it seems a lot easier.
Yes.
Yeah, it helps to do that.
I've seen it so many times where you're out of play, you just reach out your glove, and they still try to go.
He seemed to go 1.5 seconds too long. If he got rid of it a split second earlier, it was in the net because his stick was in the air. All he had to do was slide it on the ice.
He's used to making those types of passes to Hyman, where Hyman would have knew what to do with that, but he got it from Hyman. He's probably like, "Whoa, that's what I did a roll reversal tonight. Right, let's go."
But maybe still, I think you'd see him use his feet too to create a little bit more separation for himself. Like, it looked like he was leaning to try to shoot that puck. We've seen McDavid do 10 and 2, the heels together and just explode to that left side to create some more room. He didn't do it there, but that was a hell of a save by Ottinger.
Well, listen, it's the rare 20 minutes of hockey where he looked human, right? He doesn't cash in on that opportunity, right? Double minor for high sticking earlier, but that led to the other huge opportunities in this game. Dallas Stars 4-minute power play, and early on it seemed like they were destined to score. Hit a couple of posts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw it away. It looked a little stagnant to me. I mean, that was what you were saying in the back. I mean, they had a couple of opportunities from that left side where that flanker's at. A couple posts, that's one of them right there. And then another bomb from up top, but really nothing much. They did call the timeout, but couldn't muster up a different play.
And watching it, first of all, Edmonton's doing a nice job, but for Dallas, I just thought they were standing around too much. There's no flow, no motion, no movement. And take the puck to the middle and get it to the net. And then you're going to create openings, and that's how you get your power play moving around.
Yeah, this is what you're talking about here, Greg. It's just too much on the outside.
Yeah.
Right? And then have more interaction with the players moving, creating a little bit more confusion. On the outside, it's making it so easy for the defenders who's on a heater right now, killing penalties.
Yeah, and you're not going to score from out there, not in the National Hockey League. Yeah, and they'll get fluky, lucky. But when you're on the sides like that, from where they're shooting, even though they have 2 goalposts from there, if you think about it, if it hits the net, it's probably blocked by the defense when the goalie stops it. Even though they can post, that doesn't mean anything. It's like missing the net. We always say it's a long way to go to miss the net if you hit the goalpost.
That
doesn't count as a shot on goal.
Listen, and it's 19 straight kills. Yeah. First of all, it should count as a second goal.
Well, Edmonton's playing very aggressive. Their penalty killing has been really solid tonight. And Dallas is so disciplined. They've taken 1 penalty tonight, and they're playing hard.
With the 2 times they did hit the post, though, a lot of traffic in front.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost impossible for the goaltender to see that. So I'd like to see Dallas continue the same thing, just taking away the goaltender's eyes and making it tough for him to see those pucks hang.
I mean, this game was kind of slow, in my opinion, the first 10, 15 minutes. And then it really took off. It's been a great hockey game, especially third period overtime. Both teams are going for it. It's been very entertaining.
How have things changed? Let's talk about your goalie confidence. Going into this game, these 2 goalies, but now going into second overtime, confidence in these 2 goalies.
Both look great. And to me, Skinner is playing his game now. There was a few games, maybe too many in the first couple rounds, where he was too aggressive, too much movement. He opened up a lot of goals through him. Now he's playing very deep. It's a good position. He's using his body a lot on a lot of his saves. You don't see a lot of glove action, but it's a lot of body action in his good position. And I think that allows him to be in control. You know, when you start moving too much and you're not maybe used to moving much, that's when you put yourself in trouble, especially on rebounds and second opportunities, right? But now when he plays deep, every loose puck is always in front of him. But I played similar. I played pretty deep. So every rebound and second, third opportunities, the puck was always in front. If you start challenging and you're not used to it, suddenly you end up on your side or you're just out of position. So he looks great. Good news for the Oilers, obviously. And Ottinger's been unreal. A couple of massive saves. The third in overtime. I enjoy this. It's good goaltending right now.
Is that pretty standard for those body stoppers to play deeper in their net to give themselves a little more?
It's very different. I wasn't that tall, right? I'm 6'1", but I still play deep. To me, it was about positioning and reading shots. For him, it's more positioning and using his body because he's that big. I still had to react a lot more because I didn't cover as much net. But the mindset of being there on your feet, reading more, is the same.
And when you say deeper, you just mean closer to the goal line, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've reached the point in the broadcast where we're going into a second overtime, and people at home want us to ask the important questions, like what was Wayne eating at this point in the locker room when you're getting set, double overtime? What was Wayne eating?
They're leaving for this one.
Well, usually all they had was pizza around or maybe sandwiches. There wasn't a whole lot. The guys talk about the 5 overtime periods, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. They ran out of food in the arena, and the guys were just dying because they played 8 periods, right? But yeah, you get anything you can that just kind of quench your appetite, And those days we used to cut oranges, and there was a little bit of everything.
Were you eating the oranges, or did you?
Not really.
No.
I'd rather have the pizza.
Yeah. Would you take your skates off and then put your legs on the bench, maybe flush the lactic acid? I had these little tricks throughout when I grew up anyway.
No, I never took my. I took my shoulder pads and elbow pads and sweater off, but I never took my skates off. No,
Your Reds didn't do a lot of the same stuff.
We did. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys they would drain the blood out of their legs to combat the lactic acid, they called it. Because we're talking about the ice compared to Edmonton to Dallas, and the humidity down there, I think it was at 86% today. So the ice can get pretty slushy, and it's just so hard on your hips and your groins to fight through everything, especially, 60 minutes is one thing, but going into 2 OTs now.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, in those days, we wore that long underwear. It was kind of thick, so it would get really heavy. So after the second overtime, or after the first overtime, you change it completely, get a new set of underwear on, so it's lighter, because that stuff got wet and you get heavier.
Oh, yeah.
With the skates, we would get really heavy in overtime.
It's changed so much over the last 20 years in terms of nutrition. What the players are getting before the game, during the game, the shakes. There's so many different shakes for different purposes, right? So they're all set. There used to be more food. I think now they have all these different bottles that will help them get whatever you need.
Our closest thing to shakes was we called Dairy Queen, and they deliver them. That's the shakes we got in between periods.
You guys get running bugs. They're not lactose intolerant, but it's all they got. That's why you're changing your gears.
They put totally commando under their gear. What? Oh, yeah. I put some guys totally commando under their gear. Like, it was pretty uncomfortable. I couldn't do it. But I put a couple guys, that was the case. And talking about your equipment being very heavy after that because it gets so wet, it's just totally uncomfortable.
It sounds uncomfortable.
We're getting late.
That sounds really.
Let's get to this. Look at DraftKings Sports.
What do you got?
The score of the game winner. Wyatt Johnson get hungry. Zach Hyman both have plus 800 odds. Leon Draisaitl kind of quiet in that overtime. First one plus 850 still. Not too late. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code STATE. New customers can get a bonus bet of up to $1,500 first bet doesn't hit. Should we just spin the wheel again? Re-up the picks?
I'd like to change mine.
Would you like to?
Actually, never mind. That's my guy right there, Darnell Nurse. That's good homage right there. I'm just walking out of the room.
I'm sticking with Evander Kane.
Okay, I got Darnell Nurse.
I'm going to stick with Zach Hyman.
It's going to change for sure.
No, I'm going Tyler Seguin and Connor McDavid.
Wow. Yeah, McDavid has to get it back then?
Yes.
I'm sticking to Draisaitl. He was quiet. It's going to come out now.
He's rested.
Yeah, he's rested. He's ready for his, on the right side, his office.
Plug is in there, cutting up the oranges, getting going, changing the underwear. He's ready to go.
I'm going commando. You never know.
I don't hear anyone with their stats going commando. We got 1 minute here. Overtime. We're ready to go. Game 1, Western Conference Finals, second overtime. We go back. Eddie, Edzo, Boosh, Jackie, Sawyers.
All right, thanks, Liam. We're at number 5 upcoming. Thanks, Liam.
All right, we're back.
Game 6 against Colorado.
Almost a 4-hour stream. My goodness. First double OT game in 3 years. Six overtimes. Yeah. I'm not going to be here if it ends up being like something like that. Detroit Red Wings versus the Montreal Maroons. All right, here we go. Second overtime. Edmonton Oilers 2, Dallas Stars 2. Who will be the hero? Ben Tanev, Lindell, Stankoven, Johnston, Ottinger in net. Kane, Hyman, Kulak, McDavid, Bouchard, Skinner in net. Let's go.
Sent ahead by Ben off the skate of Nugent Hopkins. Ben with it once again into the Edmonton zone.
37 shots on goal for the Oilers to the Stars 33. 33 big hits to 29. Advantage Edmonton. 10 penalty minutes for the Oilers, only 2 for Dallas. It's over! And my prediction was correct. Edmonton wins. Edmonton wins. Edmonton wins. That's tough for Dallas. I was actually hoping the game would end pretty early here in OT, and there it is. Bouchard with the victory. Wow. It's over. And like I said, I was walking Paisley this morning, and I was thinking about how evenly this series was. And I remember thinking to myself, if I was going to bet on this game, why is my gut telling me Edmonton? And I didn't know why, but there it is. Edmonton 3, Dallas 2. And it happened right at the beginning of the second OT. So, wow. The Oilers did it. Now they're going to review it. I'm glad it's over quickly just because it's been such a long stream and whatnot, but we're going to review here. Very heartbreaking if you're a Dallas fan, but at least you got the Mavericks and Stars, deep in the playoffs. Not like the Cowboys, right? But Connor McDavid, assisted by Evan Bouchard. Let's see what they say. It's over. Final! Edmonton 3, Stars 2. Connor McDavid. I don't know. That's pretty heartbreaking, man. You got to think winning game 1, there's more pressure on Dallas than there is on Edmonton. The pressure is on Dallas and obviously on New York. It's a little bit more loose for Florida and Edmonton. And, man, tough loss, man. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. What a long stream. We're going to be back at it tomorrow for the Mariners and the Nationals at 3:45 Pacific. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the NHL West game number 1 final. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang. Reflect. I was just about to leave, and I saw that you are in the building. Did you end up watching a little bit of the game? I thought this game was going to end up going like 4 hours and whatnot, but I was like, oh, God, please have it end quick. I haven't ate dinner yet. I haven't walked Paisley, and there it is. And this is a very evenly matched lineup. Good thing I looked at the chat before I ended up, it's been a long day, man. My stomach is empty. It's eating itself. I need to walk Paisley. But we will be on tomorrow, 3:45. Matt will be busy doing family things on Friday and Saturday, but I will be grinding it out for the Mariners and the Nationals. And then we got a WWE pay-per-view, King and Queen in the Ring at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Mariners play at 1 after, but I'm not sure if I'm going to double dip on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're going to have the day off because the Mariners play early, and I'll watch NASCAR Cup Series as well. Thank you so much. Donos have been light. Support has been a little bit light. Thank you so much, man. Anything that you want to see photo-wise before I go? Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus jack, bang, bang. Thank you so much, man. If I took a quick glance, and normally I just end the stream, but something told me to like look at the chat to see who's in there. And it's okay, man. I appreciate you. I'll get you tomorrow. Again, like I said, we'll be doing the Mariners and Nationals, and hopefully we can win 2 out of 3 or get the brooms out. So I look forward to talking to you tomorrow, and I'll get you some. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Always, you're a champion, man. I really do appreciate it. And again, Mariners, Nationals, 3:45 Pacific. It's a little early because we're going to DC. So hopefully we can beat the brakes off of them tomorrow. Thank you so much. And I got one question for you. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Reflect as a god. Appreciate you. And I'm out. Gang.